What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto Uchiha born during the clan wars? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. In the land of fire there is a village hidden in Leaf's Konohagakure which was created by two of the strongest shinobis who were from rivals clan, and their names were Hashirame of the Senju clan and Madara of the Uchiha clan. After they founded Konohagakure, Hashirame went and got married to the women that he loved, Mito, who came from a clan that was cousins to the Senju clan, the Uzumaki clan, whilst Madara went and got married to the love of his life, Yumi, who was also from the Uchiha clan as well, and both of them had children. Hashirame and Mito had a son which they named Kawurama Senju after Hashirame's older brother who died during the clan wars, and whilst Madara and Yumi also had a son which they named Tajima Uchiha after Madara's father, who Madara himself killed to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. I don't know if that's who Madara killed to awaken his Mangekyo Sharingan. However, after 2 years of peace, Madara turned against Hashirame and they fought at a place that would later be called the Valley of the End, and he used his powerful eternal Mangekyo Sharingan to take control over the mighty nine-tailed beast the Kyuubi, but at the end of their battle Madara lost to Hashirame and it cost him his life, and the Kyuubi was then sealed away into Mito, as she was a Uzumaki who all possesses strong bodies, and as for Yumi, she was forced to step down as the head of the Uchiha clan and hand control over to Taiga Uchiha, the son of Izuna Uchiha, who was the younger brother of Madara. Taiga was born during the clan wars and a bit before Madara got the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan by taking Izuna's eyes. And ever since then all of the Uchihas and people from other clans and civilians of the village all looked down on Yumi and Tajima for Madara's betrayal to the Hidden Leaf village. As for Tajima, he grew up and got married to Kurami, who was also a member of the Uchiha clan, and they had a daughter which they named Akemi Uchiha, and she became a powerful kunoichi, earned the nickname, the Mistress of Flames, for her masterly over fire-style jutsus. Many years later in Konohagakure, Minato of the Namikaze clan, student of the Sennin Toad Sage Jiraiya, the fastest man alive, Yellow Flash of the Leaf, the hero of Third Great Ninja War and the fourth Hokage, was currently miserable because the women that he loved had just left him because she wanted to do something more in her life, and she doesn't want to become a mother so early in her life like most of her friends have done. So now he doesn't want to think about anything but the most hated enemy of all cages in the shinobi world, paperwork. However, Jiraiya, the legendary Toad Sage and super pervert, saw that his student was down and needed to be cheer up, and just then a great idea came into his head. Minato needs to find himself a woman to help to cheer him up, and being the great teacher that he will get Minato come out and have a night out with him. Knock knock. Minato looks up and saw that it was his old sensei Jiraiya. "Sensei, what do you need, or have your spy network found something out?" Minato asked curiously. "No, that's not why I am here," said Jiraiya. "Then why are you here, sensei?" Minato asked curiously. "I'm here because of you, Minato," said Jiraiya. "Me?" Minato asked confused. "Minato, just look at yourself, all upset and miserable, so finish up and come on, we are going out getting drunk and maybe find you a new woman," said Jiraiya. "I don't know, sensei, it's a bit too soon. Kushina and I just broke up," says upset Minato. "No, Minato, you didn't just break up, she left you, and so that means you're now a free man," says Jiraiya. Minato threw about it for a second about what Jiraiya was saying, and he was right. Why should he stay in his office crying and wishing for Kushina to come back when he could be out there having fun? And so he finished his paperwork and changed into his casual clothes and then left with Jiraiya to hit the village. The next morning, Minato was sleeping, trying to recover for a night out with Jiraiya and wishing he hadn't gone out because of the killing headache he got. As Minato opened his eyes slowly because pain in his head, and first thing he seen was that this wasn't his bedroom, and as he looked around he saw women was sleep right next to him, and it was none other than Akemi Uchiha, the daughter of Tajima, and Kagami Uchiha, the granddaughter of Madara and Yumi Uchiha, and the rival of Kushina, his ex-girlfriend. Akemi had fair-skinned with long pitch black hair with side bangs on both sides of her face that reached down mid-faced. She has dark black eyes like the rest of her clan, and she was considered one of the most beautiful women in the whole village, and she was just sleeping right next to him. He couldn't believe why had it to be her. Of all women in the village, it had to be the one person that Kushina hated the most. He knows that she had a crush on him back when they were younger, but she eventually gave up on him when he started dating Kushina. But right now, if Kushina finds out that he slept with her, she will say things like, "I bet you were cheating on me with her," or, Well, it didn't take you long to find someone else to fuck. He may be the Hokage, but that doesn't mean anything when they're a piss of Kushina. Now all he has got to do is to make sure that Akemi doesn't go telling anyone about this, but first he had to wake her up. Hey Akemi, please wake up, whispered Minato. 5 more minutes, Akemi moaned. Come Akemi, I really need you to wake up, whispered Minato. Akemi slowly opened her eyes and saw Minato next to her. Oh good morning, how did you slept? Said a happy smiling Akemi. Minato signs he knows that Akemi will be like this and now he must find a way to get Akemi to tell no one about this. Great, but I need you to tell no one about this, okay? Says a nervous Minato. Why not, are you ashamed for what we did? Says upset and pissed Akemi, hoping he wasn't. What bull $%, you just don't want Kushina to find out. Shouted a very piss-off Akemi, how dare he tell her that bull $%, and she was hoping maybe they could start dating, but no they couldn't because Minato was so scared of what Kushina will do when she finds out. Wait, calm down Akemi, just listen, I know you, but please think about what Kushina will feel if she finds out that we did it. She may think that I be cheating on with you. Said a very scared Minato. Sure, he is scared if Kushina finds out, but Akemi is just as bad. Why not? So what if she finds out she was the one who broke up with you? Shouted Akemi with tears starting to pour out. I can't do that to her Yag, she has broken my heart, but I still love her, said Minato. Akemi couldn't listen to this anymore and had enough of this. Get out now, shouted Kurami. Minato understand why she was like this, because if Kushina had said the same thing to him it will kill him. So he got up and went to grab his clothes, and just as he was about to use his flying thunder technique to flash back to his house, he first turned around and said, I'm sorry, and then he was gone in a flash, leave a crying Kurami alone. A flash forward. It has been 2 weeks after the night with Akemi and things have not gone well with her. It's not that she told people about that night, no, it was that for the whole 2 weeks she has been miserable and depressed. That was the last thing that Minato wanted to do to her, and so today, like any other day, he was planning on going to his office and do his paperwork, but today something special happened because today Kushina burst in and shouted, Minato Namikaze. You got me pregnant, which shocked Minato as he couldn't believe that Kushina was pregnant and it was his. Wait, calm please down Kushina, are you sure? Minato said whilst inside his head he was hoping it was true. He has always wanted to become a father and maybe he and Kushina could get together. Yes of course, I'm sure you dumbass, I went to Tsunade this morning and she did some tests, then she said that I'm pregnant. Shouted Kushina. She couldn't believe why now after she left Minato, because she wanted to become something other than be a mother like many of her friends who had become mothers, like Sume Inuzuka who had a little girl named Hana, or Makoto Uchiha who had a little boy called Itachi. They were great kunoichi, but then they got pregnant and was saying things like, after Hana, Itachi gets a bit older I'll rejoin the ranks, but they never did. Sume took control over her clan and Makoto became a stay-home mom. She didn't want that regent now in her life, but now she knows that she's going to become a mother. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad thing because her friends seem happy being mothers and she could get back together with Minato, the man that she loved. Minato ran right next to her and gave her a hug, then says, I love you so much Kushina, please come back, I miss you so much. Kushina smiled and hugged him back and said, Softy, of course you big idiot. Sometime later, Minato and Kushina were sitting down and talk about what to do next. I can't believe it, I'm going to become a mother. When Tsunade told me I just couldn't believe it. I was so afraid, I didn't know what to do, and the first thing I did was ran here, but as I left Tsunade's office I ran into Akemi, so she asked if I was alright, but I couldn't wait to tell anyone about it, so I told her that I'm pregnant and weird thing that happened. She said, good for Kushina, I'm so happy for you, with a smile, and I then realized one thing, why was Akemi in the hospital, so I asked her, well funny thing is that I'm pregnant as well. Now that was shocking to hear from her. Then I asked who was the father, she just told it as a surprise, said Kushina. Minato was in shock and started wondering, did Akemi get pregnant from their one-night stand and now he was going to become a father for another child with another woman? Kushina was looking at Minato with curiosity, wondering why he looked like he thinking about something important when she told him that Akemi was pregnant as well, and his face changes to happy to what is now. Minato, what's wrong, you don't look happy, asked Kushina. Minato sighed, he knows that he has to tell her about the night he spent with Akemi and maybe that he's the father to Akemi's child, but he was afraid that if he told her she will leave him again. Okay, but first I need you to promise me you won't get angry, said Minato. Fine, I promise, and now will you just tell me what's wrong with you? Said Kushina, who was starting to get worried. Okay, so it all started like this, said Minato, telling Kushina about what happened. After he finishes telling her about that night with Akemi, he could see the angrier in Kushina's eyes, and he was hoping that she will keep the promise she made. Kushina couldn't believe it that Minato slept with Akemi. The very idea of it pissed her off, but she couldn't be angry at him because she left him, meaning that he would whatever he wanted to do. It's okay Minato, I'm okay, but don't get me wrong, I'm pissed off that you slept with her, but I left you so you have the right to sleep with whoever you wanted, said Kushina. Minato was happy that Kushina was okay with it, but now he has to think about what to do with Akemi. He knew that she will keep the child and take good of him. The only problems is that what if she tells people who the father is, or what if someone finds out on their own, or the child inherited his looks and people start to see the similarities. He needed to think of a way to make sure that the whole village doesn't find out. Maybe he could get Akemi to agree to tell anyone that he was the father by giving her money to help with baby and some of his own jutsus for the child when he or she are older. As for someone who might find out first, he will have find who knows about him and Akemi night together. Then if someone does know, he will forbid them from telling anyone, and if they do, he will order someone from the clan who he trusts to erase that part of their memories, and if the child looks like him, then he will ask Tsunade to change some things by using a special medical ninjutsu she may knows. But an even bigger problem is the biggest kept secret in Konoha, which is that Kushina is the current Jinchuriki for the Kyuubi, and the problem was that whenever a female Jinchuriki becomes pregnant, the Biju might try to break free for its seal. So Minato's plan was for Kushina to be taken outside of the village to give birth, and he will stop the seal for breaking. Over mouths that followed were going great. Minato asked Kushina to marry and she said yes, and they had a big wedding, and then afterwards they asked Jiraiya and Tsunade to be the godparents for their future child, which they agree. And as for Akemi, she had asked the clan head Fugaku and his wife Makoto to her child godparents, which they agreed to be. Also during the months, Kushina found out that she was having twins, a boy and girl, so they chose Mito for the girl's name, and as for the boy they wanted to name him Naruto, but they couldn't because Akemi also found out that she was having a boy and desired to name him Naruto, so they choose Menma instead. The day of the Kyuubi attack. On the day that Kushina and Akemi was to give birth to his children, and he couldn't wait to meet them, but he couldn't be a father for his Uchiha son, which upsetted him greatly because he always wanted to be good father for any of his child and being there for them whenever they need a father figure. So Minato was very disappointed with himself, but he has hope that maybe one day he could be, and maybe both of his sons will become good friends. Kushina was walking to gates with Bawako, the third Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi wife. The plan was that they will add their bodyguards and they will take them to the secret location for Kushina to give birth. As they were walking, Kushina saw Makoto with her newborn son. "Hey Makoto," said Kushina. Makoto looked up and saw Kushina and Lady Bawako. "Oh hey Kushina, and hello Lady Bawako," said Makoto. "Hello Makoto," says Bawako. Kushina was looking at the little baby in Makoto's arms. "So here's your new little man, aren't he just so cute?" Kushina said with a smile. "Oh yes, his name is Sasuke Uchiha," Makoto said with a big smile. "Oh, after Hiruzen's father," said Bawako. "Yes, we choose because it's a great name," Makoto said. Then Makoto looked at Kushina and then said, "I'm a bit surprised that you're not in the hospital like Akemi." Kushina looked worried. "Damn it, what do I tell her?" through Kushina. "Oh, it's because we're taking her special place for Hokage's wife to give birth. It is where I went and birthed to my two sons," Bawako answer. "Thanks Bawako," through Kushina. "Oh, I better hurry, I need to get little Sasuke home, then go to the hospital to be there for Akemi. Poor woman going to raise a child by herself. What kind of a man doesn't want be there for a woman who is having his child? I tried to get her to tell me who is it, but she wouldn't tell," said Makoto, who was starting to get angrily. Kushina was starting to get upset hearing that while she was getting help from other people, Akemi was along, but at least she had Makoto for support. "Well, we better get going always," said Bawako. "Bye Makoto," shouted Kushina as she was being dragged by Bawako. "Bye Kushina and Lady Bawako," shouted Makoto. Later in the hidden location. "Come on Kushina, keep pushing," said Bawako. "You try doing this and try to keep the $ing Kyuubi for breaking free," screamed Kushina, who was in so much pain. "Come Kushina, you almost there," Minato said, trying to calm Kushina down and stopping he Kyuubi break free. "Fuck you Minato, this is all your fault," screamed Kushina as she was giving her last push. "There, it's done, let's give this little guy a wash and we'll hang him with his sister. Over to you," Bawako said as she and the nurse walk over to wash the baby. "Okay, now I will reseal this," Minato said, but just before he heard a bang. Then he turned around and saw Bawako and the nurse were on the floor dead, and a hooded masked man was standing over them with both Menma and Mito in his arms. Set away for the Jinchuriki 4th Hokage or your children will die with only a few minutes of being alive, said the masked man. Look, just calm down, said a Minato who was worried for his newborn son. I'm perfectly calm, you're the one who needs to calm down and set away from the Jinchuriki right now, said the masked man. Minato, please save Menma and Mito, Kushina said whilst in pain because of giving birth to twins but also the Kyuubi trying to break free. The masked man then threw both Menma and Mito into the air and threw 2 kunais at them. Minato quickly jumped at them and stopped the kunais for hitting Menma and Mito, but he found an explosive tag on the blanket wrap around Menma, so he got rid of it, but he couldn't stop the explosion, so he used Hiraishin to get away with Menma and Mito. Outside of the hidden hideout. After transporting outside, Minato knew that Kushina was still alive because if she wasn't, the Kyuubi would be free right now, and Minato was sure he would have seen it, but first he needed to get Menma and Mito to a safe place and find Kushina and stop whatever the masked man was planning. Konohagakure Hospital. Minato got to Tsunade's office to Hiraishin and then he burst into it and shouted, "Tsunade, I need you to look after Menma and Mito, I don't have much time to explain." After he finished, he handed her Menma and Mito before teleporting away, leaving Tsunade, who was wondering what the hell just happened. Somewhere outside of the village. Soon I will have the Kyuubi and destroy the leaf, said the masked man. Why are you doing this? Says Kushina, who was trying her best to keep the Kyuubi inside. It's all part of my plan, but now it's time to finally free the Kyuubi, says the masked man as did some hand signs. Inside Kushina's seal with the Kyuubi. The mighty Kyuubi roar as it feels it's finally being free after so many years being sealed away, first into Mito and then Kushina. The outside world. Come forth and obey me, the masked man shouted. Show he had the Sharingan in the only eye you can see. Red chakra burst out from Kushina's body, then took a shape of the fox head, and then it shot up in the air, and the next the Kyuubi finial took his form. The masked man was pleased that the Kyuubi was free and that he used his Sharingan to make it obey him. As he did that, the beast's own eyes transformed into the Sharingan, showing it was under his complete control. Good, now before you destroy the leaf, first kill your former jailer, said the masked man. The Kyuubi under his control went to crush Kushina, but just he was about to, she gone. On top of the tree was Minato, who was holding Kushina in his arms. She looks up at him and asked, Is Menma alright? Please telling me that he's alright, Minato. Minato looked at her and he could see that she was in a lot of pain, and if she doesn't get any aid soon she will surely die. He then turned his head and looked at the masked man with pure anger in his eyes. You're too late, Hokage, like always, and now the Kyuubi is free and will burn the village to the ground, the masked man said before he ordered the Kyuubi to attack the Hokage and his wife, but Minato was gone. It doesn't matter, soon he and Leaf will be destroyed, through the masked man. Back at Konohagakure Hospital, Minato and Kushina came out of nowhere in a yellow flash with Minato holding Kushina in his arms. Then he shouted, I need someone's help right now. As he did, doctor and nurses gather around and took Kushina. Minato panicking and wondered what to do now, but just then someone grabbed he and started to pull he away. He turned his head to see who it was pulling him. It was Makoto Uchiha. He stopped her and said, Makoto, what are you doing? She turned her head to look at him. It's Akemi, she needs you right now, Makoto said as she started to pull at him again. I can't leave Kushina alone, something bad has happened. Okay, Minato said as he tried again to break free, but before he could. No, you need to listen, something happened with Akemi and baby, said Makoto, trying her best to pull him. Now Minato looked at her with worry in his eyes. What had happened, Makoto, tell me. Minato said, getting more and more worry. Makoto looked at him and said, the doctor said something went wrong and she is. Makoto couldn't finish and started to cry. Minato looked at her and he couldn't believe it, so he asked where Akemi was and Makoto told him down the hall, so Minato ran and trying his best to avoid bumping into anyone as he burst in and saw Akemi with a little black hair baby boy in her arms. Somewhere in the village, the masked man jumped down from a building, then he slammed his hand on the floor and shouted, Summoning Jutsu. Just as he finished, a giant seal appeared around his hand and a massive smoke came out of nowhere, and then there was a giant roar in it. The civilians and shinobi was looking what was the smoke, and as the smoke was leaving they saw it, the nine-tailed fox, the Kyuubi, and as they saw it many of them screamed and ran away for their lives. Inside Konohagakure Hospital, As Minato walked to Kurami, he looked down and saw their newborn son. As he looked at him, he saw that he didn't look like him as much as Menma DJD, and just as he looked at him, Naruto opened his eyes, showing he had dark blue, which surprised him because all Uchiha had black hair and eyes. "Minato," Akemi said weakly. "Yes, it's me, Akemi," Minato answered. "Minato, please look after him," Akemi begged. Minato looked at Akemi and saw that she wasn't scared from dying but for leaving Naruto alone in the world. "I will do everything I can to help him, I promise you," Minato vowed. Akemi smiled and said, "Thank you." Just they felt an earthquake, and as they looked through the window they saw the Kyuubi was destroying the village. "Go and be the hero that you are," Akemi said. With her last words she closed her eyes and she was gone from the world. Minato walked up to her and kissed her on her forehead and said, "I will always remember you," with tears coming down in face, and then he took Naruto for her arms and walked away towards the door. Makoto, who had watched everything that had happened, now knows that Minato is Naruto's father. Minato walks out of the room and saw Makoto standing outside. "Please look after him until I return," said Minato as he handed her Naruto. Makoto nodded and took him and smiled as she looked at the small child. Minato knew that he needed to seal the Kyuubi into someone, but he couldn't seal all of the Kyuubi back into Kushina. Her body wasn't strong enough, or seal it into Menma or Mito, as a baby wouldn't survive the full power of the Kyuubi. So Minato came up with an idea. He will separated the Kyuubi's yin chakra and yang chakra. Then seal the yin chakra into Menma and the yang chakra into Mito. Sometime later, Minato had Menma in his arms, and next to him was Kushina, who had Mito in her arms, and as they reached the battlefield they saw the third Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi leading the attack on the Kyuubi. "Third, I'll stop the Kyuubi," says Minato as he was walking to the beast. "What, but how?" asked Hiruzen, wondering how can he stop it and why did he bring a baby with him. "I'm going to separated the Kyuubi's yin chakra and yang chakra, then seal the yin chakra into Menma and the yang chakra into Mito using the 8 trigrams sealing just you," Minato explained, and he summoned a ceremonial throne and placed the children on it. Hiruzen thought about it and it was a good idea, but one mistake. "No," said Hiruzen. "What?" said a shocked Minato. "I'll do the sealing," told Hiruzen. "But why?" said Minato. "Because you are this village's future and your family will need you," said Hiruzen. "Thank you," says Minato. "But just tell me one thing?" asked Hiruzen. "Of course," said Minato. "What happened to Bawako?" asked Hiruzen. "I'm sorry," told Minato. "I see, maybe I will see her in the other world," said sadly Hiruzen. Minato drew the seals on both Menma and Mito whilst Hiruzen did some hand size. The next thing was the death god Shinigami came behind Hiruzen, then it arms threw over to Kyuubi, grabbing it, turning it into chakra and separate into 2 halves of it, then bring it oven and put 1 half in Menma and the other half in Mito, and then Shinigami was gone and Hiruzen fell down to the ground. Minato and the other ran oven to him, but he was dead, and so Hiruzen Sarutobi, the student of the second Hokage Tobirama, teacher of the legendary Sennin, the third Hokage and the god of shinobi, has died, but his sacrifice will never be forgotten. After the Kyuubi attack on the leaf, Minato told the village about Mito and Menma at Jinchurikis for the Kyuubi, and the village believed that they were heroes for keeping the monster away, but sadly Minato wasn't able to keep the promise he made with Akemi by taking care of Naruto, because the Uchiha clan will not allow him, wanting to keep their beloved bloodline within their clan, and Naruto being the great-grandson of Madara, who was the most powerful Uchiha in their clan history, they couldn't just allow his only remaining descendant to be given away, and because he was a member of their clan, Minato had no chance of getting to keep Naruto, so he left him alone but kept a close eye on him. As Naruto grew up, he became close to another member of the Uchiha clan called Shisui Uchiha, who was also known as Shisui of the body flicker for his masterly over the body flicker technique, and eventually they became so close that they considered each other as brothers. Naruto was now 8 years old and he had fair skin with dark blue eyes and spiky, black hair that had a slight blue tint to it and was chin length that parted to frame the sides of his face. He wore a blue long sleeve shirt with Uchiha clan symbol and white pants. He looks just like Madara when he was a kid, but with blue eyes. Naruto had already gained a name for himself in the Konoha Academy as the prodigy among prodigies because of his amazing skills in every subject, and no one had any doubt that he was going to become an incredibly strong shinobi when he's older. However, they were also worried at the chance that he may turn into another Madara Uchiha. At the Uchiha clan training ground 3. Shurikens were being thrown through the air and clashing against each other. To any civilian it would have been just noise, but to a trained shinobi they were know that there is a fight taking place. Just then a young boy jumped out from the forest and did a few hand signs and then shouted, "Fire style! Fireball jutsu!" As he did he let out a giant fireball heading straight at some trees and whoever is hiding behind them. About time, thought the person who was behind a tree, and then he uses shunshin to get himself to safety. "Gotta do better than that, Naruto," the person said with a grin on his face, but then he noticed something off with the Naruto who was standing in front of him and just then disappear in proof of smoke. Wait, that was jutsu, a clone, the person thought, and he quickly turned his head around upwards and saw Naruto in the air directly above him with his blade in his hands. "I know," Naruto said as he swung his blade down at the person, but he only managed to hit the other guy's blade, a tanto which he brought out just in time. Why did I taught you the shunshin?" said the guy, pushing Naruto back with his tanto. "Because you wanted people think there was a mine version of you, Shisui," said Naruto, trying to hold his ground against him. "Oh yeah," Shisui thought with a sweat drop for forgetting. "Oh, I taught you that, but I haven't taught you everything just yet," Shisui said as he started to channel chakra though his tanto. "Shit," Naruto thought angrily as he knew what was coming. As Shisui channeled his chakra though his tanto, fire appeared on the tanto and then Shisui smiled and then Naruto quickly jumped backwards hoping to avoid of what's coming. Shisui then started doing slashes through the air, and because the flames on his blade so slashes with on fire and heading straight at Naruto. As Naruto trying to avoid the attack, he then used shunshin to a tree branch to catch his breath, but Shisui appeared right above him and he was channeling even more chakra though his tanto, making the flames even longer and more powerful than before. He too swing his blade downwards, sending a huge flaming slash at Naruto. As Naruto saw it coming at him, he started doing hand quickly and then shouted, "Fire style! Fire dragon flame bullet!" breathing out 5 medium-sized genuine-looking dragons and sending them at different points on the flame slash which was coming straight down at his. As both attaches clash and cancelling both of them out, Naruto looked for Shisui, but he didn't have look for very long because Shisui appeared in front of Naruto and sending a kick at his stomach which sent Naruto clashing to the ground. God damn him and his bloody shunshin, thought Naruto, trying to get up from a kick like that, but then he felt something on his neck and he saw it was Shisui who was holding his tanto against Naruto's throat. "Sorry Naruto, but it seems that I win," said Shisui. Yeah you win," weighed Naruto moody. "Hey, don't look so down there buddy, you did great," said Shisui, trying to cheer Naruto up. "Thanks bro," Naruto said smiling, and he got a smile back from Shisui. As Naruto and Shisui started chatting for a bit, someone appeared in front of them. Itachi-san," Shisui and Naruto said. "Hey Shisui and hello Naruto," said Itachi. "Itachi, shouldn't you be on a mission?" asked Naruto. "Oh, I finish early and thought to see Shisui," said Itachi. As Itachi finished, he looked at Shisui and face turned serious. "Shisui, we need to talk," said a serious Itachi. As Itachi said that, Shisui face changed to serious as well. Shisui turned his head and looked at Naruto. "Naruto, I think that's all for today, so see ya tomorrow," said Shisui. "But why, we since got an hour left?" asked Naruto. "Naruto, I really need to talk to Itachi, but hey, how about tomorrow I teach you chakra flow," said Shisui. "Sigh. Fine, but you better teach me that chakra channel thing you just did," said Naruto as he was getting up. "See ya Naruto," said Itachi. "See ya Itachi," said Naruto. As Naruto was out of sight, they made sure no one was listening. "So Itachi, what have you learned?" said Shisui with Naruto as he was walking in the Uchiha clan compound. As Naruto walked home, he was thinking shout how Shisui and Itachi were acting strange, because this wasn't the first time that this has happened. In fact, the entire clan has been acting strange for a while now, as Naruto thought about. He didn't know why, but he wondered if it has something doing with the entire clan meetings, but he wasn't allowed to attend because only people older than 16 or if you're a genin. And he has also noticed was that the clan hasn't been friendly to the rest of the village. But just then Naruto bumped into someone. As Naruto looked at whoever he had just bumped into, and he saw it a man who was wearing an Enbu Black Ops uniform and dark blue mask that covered the lower part of his face. His forehead protector was tilted on the right side, hiding his right eye, leaving only his left, and he had spiky sliver hair. "Sorry, I wasn't looking where I was going," said Naruto. "Don't worry about it, I was too busy reading to know where I was going," said the sliver hair man. As he looked away from his book to see who he bumped into as saw the boy's face, one thought came to him. Strange, he kind of looks like a Uchiha version of Sensei, thought the gray-haired man. As the gray-haired man was looking at Naruto, suddenly a man appeared next to him. The new guy had a black hair with a bowl-cut hairstyle, with huge thick eyebrows, tight green jumpsuit with orange striped leg warmers and with an unzipped standard Jonin Konoha flag jacket. "Kakashi, my eternal rival, how are you?" shouted the strange man. As the strange man was looking at his eternal rival, he noticed there is a small boy standing next to him. "Oh, who is this youthful boy here?" said the strange man. "Oh, I'm Naruto Uchiha, sir," said Naruto. "Wait, I have heard of you from the academy. You're supposed to be very talented in the shinobi arts," said the strange man. "I have been told, and who may you be?" Naruto asked. "Oh, how unyouthful of me. I am Konoha's sublime green beast of prey, my guy," he said, doing a nice guy pose. "Guy, why were you at the academy at the first place?" Kakashi asked his friend. "I already told you, Kakashi, you must have not been paying attention. How unyouthful of you," said Guy. "Oh, I thought you were shouting about youth again," said Kakashi. "The reason why I was at the academy was because I'm tutoring a lad there," said Guy. "Nice to meet you, Mike Guy, and you Kakashi. See ya," said Naruto as he walked away. "Such a polite youthful boy, don't you think, Kakashi?" said Guy. "Who looks awfully like Minato sensei," Kakashi thought curiously. A couple mouths later. Ever since Itachi told Shisui whatever it was, Shisui started acting even more strange lately, and Naruto asked him was there anything wrong. He just smiled at Naruto and said, "Don't worry about Naruto. And the entire Uchiha clan has also been acting strange as well, like something going to happen, and Naruto didn't know but that it has to be something big." Naruto haven't seen Shisui in 3 days. The last time he saw him was when they were training, but then 2 Anbu Black Ops members appear and told Shishi that the Hokage and the elders has requested to see him, then they vanished. Shisui told Naruto that he will see him soon, but Naruto haven't seen Shishi, so he guessed that they sent Shisui on a mission. At Naruto's home, Naruto was at his house, which has been owned by his family since the time before Madara left the village, so he owned it back when he was still alive, and it was one of the 2 biggest house in the Uchiha clan compound, with the other being house. He was in the kitchen making his lunch until he heard a knock on the door, so he went to see who it was, and he knew it wasn't Shisui because he told Shisui that he can just walk in whenever he wants, and as Naruto opened the door he saw 3 Uchiha police officers standing there. "Naruto, we need to have a word with you," said one of the officers. "Of course, sir, what do you need?" said Naruto. "We need to know when was the last time you saw Shisui," said one of the officers. "It was 3 days, said Naruto. "And where was this and what were you doing?" the officer asked. "It was at the Uchiha Training Ground 3 and we were training," Naruto said. "Okay, and did something happen differently?" asked the officer. "Well, yeah, we finish early because some Anbu guys show up and told Shisui that the Hokage and the elders wanted to see him," said Naruto. When Naruto said that, all the officers' eyes widening, and Naruto saw this. "Why has something happened to Shisui?" Naruto asked, who was starting to get worried. All the police officers look at each other, knowing that what they were about to tell Naruto was going to be difficult. "Last night one of our patrols found a body in river and we can confirm that it is Shisui," said the officer. When he said Shisui name, Naruto eyes widening with tears pouring out. No, it can't be, not Shisui," said a crying Naruto. "I'm sorry, but it is," said the officer. How? Why?" asked Naruto. "We don't know yet, but we promise we will find out," said the officer. As the officers left, Naruto cannot take it and he fell to his knees and cried loudly. "No. Why Shisui? Why him? He was the only family got. Why it has to be him?" Naruto thought as cried. A couple days later at the Uchiha clan graveyard. Dark gray clouds clover the sky as rain fell from them and was hitting the people who were attending Shisui's funeral. There stood his friends and comrades. He had no family except for one who he thought as a little brother, Naruto. As Shisui's coffin was being bearded, Itachi puts his hand on Naruto's shoulder and told him, "Naruto, if you need anyone to talk to, I'm here for you," said Itachi. "I'll find them," Naruto whispered. Itachi looked down at him with one of his eyebrows raised up. "I'll find who did this," Naruto said as eyes begin to turn red. "And kill them." Naruto finished with his eyes turned into the Sharingan, showing that Naruto has finally awakened his Sharingan. Later at the Uchiha clan Naka shrine. Naruto was in the Uchiha clan Naka shrine sitting in front of Fugaku and the Uchiha clan elder because they wanted to discuss about Shisui's will. "Naruto, we have read Shisui's will and he has left everything that he owns to you," Fugaku said. "Thanks you Lord Fugaku," said a emotionless Naruto. As Fugaku looked into Naruto's eyes, he saw that there was something was now missing within them. "We will be sending so men to Shisui to collect his things and transport them to your house," said Fugaku. "Thank you Lord Fugaku, that will be helpful," said Naruto. "We thought you won't want to keep his house because you already own a big house, but you can keep it if you want to, and if you don't we can sell it for you and hand over the money to you," said Fugaku. "Yes, I'll like to sell," said Naruto. "Good, and I like to hand over to you this," said Fugaku. As Fugaku handed a wooden box over to Naruto, he opened it and his eyes widened as he saw it was Shisui's own tanto, the weapon he always took with him on missions and used when they were training. "I thought it would be better to hand this over to you personal," said Fugaku. As Naruto looked at the tanto, a small smile appeared on his face. "Thanks you Lord Fugaku, this means the world to me," said Naruto as he picked up the Shisui's tanto blade. "Lord Fugaku, I do have a request to make," Naruto asked. Fugaku looked at Naruto in surprise because this is the very first time Naruto has ever requested something from him and the council. "Oh, and what would it be?" Fugaku asked curiosity. "My request is if you find out who did this, you let me be the one to kill them," said Naruto with his Sharingan on. Everyone else in the room didn't know to think because an 8-year-old boy had just requested to them to be allowed to murder someone, but they knew that Naruto felt that Shisui was like an older brother, so it wasn't surprising, and Naruto wasn't a normal 10-year-old boy. "We will consider it Naruto," Fugaku said, getting a nod for Naruto before he got up and left the Naka shrine. A couple mouths after the meeting. It is 3 months away until the festival for the defeat of the Kyuubi, also the birthday of the Hokage's children Mito and Menma Uzumaki Namikaze, and unknown to almost everyone Naruto Uchiha, so people were think about getting things really for the festival like drinks, food, and also some people are making posters of 4th Hokage defeating the Kyuubi. At Konoha Academy, Naruto was in the classroom just sitting by a window and looking through it and paying no action to the teacher to whatever he talking about. "Naruto Uchiha!" the teacher shouted angrily. Naruto simply turned his head and saw the angry teacher, and the rest of the class was looking at him. "What?" said Naruto in a bored tone. "Pay attention," shouted the teacher. "Why?" asked Naruto. The teacher didn't exist in reply, especially from Naruto. "Because what I'm telling you is going to be important for your life as a shinobi in the future, Naruto," said the teacher. "What?" "Learning about the daimyo of our land and the others daimyos from different countries as well as ever families, it's not important," said Naruto. "Yes, it's necessary for you to know about the feudal lords, Naruto," said the teacher. "It's not necessary to learn about people who are weak but thinks that they strong instead. Power is the only true necessary in the shinobi world," said Naruto. The teacher didn't know what to say about that because there wasn't any other student who thinks like that except for people who has been a shinobi for years and have seen the darkness in this world. At the Konoha Academy sparring grounds. So far the people who have won their matches are Hinata of the Hyuga clan, who she defaulted was Sakura Haruno, a girl who from a civilian family. Hinata default Sakura by using her clan's famous taijutsu style, the gentle fist. The next person to win their match was Mito Uzumaki Namikaze. She was up against Ino of the Yamanaka clan. Next was Sasuke Uchiha. He defaulted Choji of the Akamichi. Then there was Menma Uzumaki Namikaze, who defaulted Shikamaru of the Nara clan, and Shino of the Aburame clan, who defaulted some boy from a civilian family. And the last match was about to take place between Kiba of the Inuzuka clan against Naruto Uchiha. "Come on Naruto, it's about time for everyone to know who's the real alpha dog really is," said Kiba. "We're not dogs, Kiba," said a very bored Naruto. "Shut up. You know what I mean, you think you're so great," Kiba said angrily. "Well, I'm better, you dead last," said Naruto. Kiba growled at Naruto for calling him dead last and wanting to upset Naruto, so he said something he's going to regret. "The only reason why you're so good is because Shisui trained you, and without him you won't be even half as you are, and you act like his was so great shinobi, but guess what, he isn't, because if he was he won't be dead," said Kiba. The entire class froze when Kiba said that everyone thought he went too far and Kiba himself thought he went a bit too far with that, so maybe he should apologize, but before he could, Naruto was gone and just then he appeared right in front of Kiba, but that wasn't what scared him the most. It was the first time he has ever saw Naruto piss off. Naruto swing his fishes straight at Kiba face, hitting him again and again. Don't, smack, you, smack, ever, smack, insult, smack, Shisui, smack, again. As all the students watch Naruto beat Kiba down brutally, the teacher thought this was getting out of hand and he'll have stopped this, but before he could, Naruto was at right side of Kiba and then he kicked Kiba in his right arm, causing him to scream and fell to the ground. The teacher ran over to Kiba to see if he's okay. As he got to him and check him, he found out something shocking. He broke Kiba's arm, the teacher thought in shock. Medic: Kiba unconscious with a broken arm. The teacher shouted. All the students were shocked. They knew Kiba went too far, but Naruto breaking his arm, one thought came to them. Wow! At the Uchiha clan training ground. Naruto was at his usual training ground spot practicing his shurikenjutsu, and he was in the air upside down throwing his shuriken at their target. Blind sport by making his kunais hit, else other ensure that they will hit their mark. It was Itachi who taught him this. He told Naruto that by this it will improve skill in shuriken greatly. Gotta keep going, Naruto thought, trying to get back on his feet but failed. I need to get stronger, Naruto thought whilst trying again to get up. I need more power, Naruto thought before he fell to the ground again, but this time he passed out. In the midnight of the night. By the time Naruto woke up, he found it was pitch black, meaning that he has slept for 3 hours, so he brushed himself off and went home, but he walked back to the Uchiha compound. He couldn't stop remembering all the time spent with Shisui, like when Shisui took him to Dango shop, Ichiraku Ramen and Uchiha Senbei to get food, into the Zero Training Ground, which is a wildlife preserve for rare and unusual animals and others, and before Naruto knew it he was already at the Uchiha clan compound gates, so he walked through them minding no business. However, he couldn't help but notice that there wasn't any guard patrols around, which was weird, but also there was no light in any homes. It's not that late, so why? Naruto thought to himself. But as he passed the last house on the street and turned the corner, that was when he saw something that will stay with him for the rest of his life. There were bodies laying in pools of blood on street, and every Uchiha crest was slash. What is all this? Naruto said to himself with his eyes fully widened. Just then he heard a scream down the road, so Naruto ran to it at the fastest he could, and when he arrived where it came from, he saw Itachi in his full Anbu Black Ops gear with a serious look on his face, and Sasuke was on the floor unconscious. Itachi, what's going on? There's dead bodies all over the street, asked Naruto. Naruto, there you were. I was wondering where you were, said Itachi. I was at the training ground, but it doesn't matter what the hell is going on here, said Naruto. Simple, I'm removing the weak, said Itachi. What? Naruto said, confused. Our clan has turned into a pack of weak fools who believe that with their Sharingan they are gods in this world, but I have shown them what they really are, said Itachi. Itachi, please tell me you didn't, Naruto said, hoping that it was all a lie. I didn't do what? Naruto killed them all. Well, I did just like what I did to Shisui, said Itachi. What? Naruto shouted, couldn't believe what he was hearing. Oh yes, I was the one that killed your precious Shisui, said Itachi. Why he was your best friend? Asked Naruto. To obtain the next level, said Itachi. The next level? Naruto asked, confused. You see, there is a higher level of the Sharingan which both of our great-great-greatfathers obtained, and your great-great-grandfather Madara Uchiha used it to fight against the first Hokage Hashirame Senju, said Itachi. It is called the Mangekyo Sharingan, said Itachi. As his activated his Sharingan, it changes shape as the three tomos slowly began to move inwards and formed a three-sided pinwheel. And now let me show you one of the abilities of the Mangekyo Sharingan, Tsukuyomi. Itachi said, which sent Naruto into a powerful genjutsu. In the world of Itachi's Tsukuyomi, Itachi was showing Naruto all the Uchihas that he has murdered again and again, as well making Naruto hear them begging him to save them. Please stop it, Naruto begged Itachi. You will never be able to save anyone, said Itachi. As Naruto tried not to hear them begging him, but with no luck. Please save us, Naruto. Help us, Naruto. Why ain't you helping us, Naruto? Itachi. Please stop this, Naruto shouted. You're just like all the rest, Naruto, weak and helpless. Evening the Shisui, said Itachi. The moment Web Itachi said Shisui's name, Naruto saw Shisui right in of him, bleeding and drying. Shisui, said Naruto. Please N Naruto help me, Shisui beg. No you can't be him, you can't be Shisui, he's dead, said Naruto with tears going down his face. Please Naruto, I thought we would like brothers, said Shisui. No, this is all just a genjutsu, said Naruto with hands over his eyes. So you won't even save poor Shisui, said Itachi. It's all a lie, said Naruto as he fell to his knees. Might as well put him out of his misery, said Itachi as his reach of his on his back. Naruto, help me please, Shisui shouted at Naruto. It's all a lie, Naruto shouted to himself. Naruto Shisui screamed just before Itachi brought his blade down on Shisui's throat. N was the last sounds Shisui made before dying. As Naruto opened his eyes he saw it all happen right in front of him. No, Naruto repeated as he saw the blood coming out of Shisui's neck. But unknown to both Naruto and Itachi something was going on with Sharingan. Meanwhile Itachi thought it was enough so he dispelled the Tsukuyomi on Naruto, and as Itachi looked at Naruto who was on the floor he thought that Naruto must have passed out just like Sasuke when he used the Tsukuyomi on him, so as Itachi turned around and took 2 sets he heard something which surprised even him. You, Naruto whisper. Itachi quickly turned around and looked back at Naruto with a look of shock on his face. How is that possible? How can he still be awake after all of that, Itachi thought. You, said Naruto with his anger rising while he also picking himself up. Bastard, shouted Naruto with his Sharingan blazing. As Itachi looked at Naruto he became even more shocked as Naruto's Sharingan slowly began to form into a black ring in the middle of the eye with 6 tomos inside the ring and they stretched to the border of his eyes. He's awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan, but how I thought it has to be a real friend die right in front of you, not some illusion, Itachi thought. But just then dark red chakra appeared surrounding Naruto, and then the dark red chakra became a giant humanoid skeleton with 2 horns on it and with glowing yellow eyes. Think Sasuke's Susanoo when he was fighting against Danzo, but this has the same color as Might Guy's Night Guy technique. The Susanoo, but how evening if he's obtained the Mangekyo Sharingan he shouldn't have that much chakra within him to form the Susanoo, thought Itachi. Die, Naruto shouted. Just as Naruto's shouted his Susanoo attacked Itachi by sending punch at him, but Itachi dodged quickly the dodge, but the Susanoo didn't stop, it continued to punch at Itachi who dodged them easily thanks to his speed. As Itachi dodged the punches from Naruto's Susanoo he jumped onto a building, but Naruto's Susanoo didn't stop so it sent a punch at Itachi who managed to dodge it just in time, and the attack however hit the building destroying it completely. If I stay here any longer the whole village will be here, Itachi thought. And again Naruto's Susanoo appeared and destroyed another building that Itachi was standing on, which he dodges the attack again and the attack destroying that building as well, and it continues to destroy the builds that Itachi had jump onto until it has destroy a whole street block, and as Itachi continued to dodge the attacks from Naruto's Susanoo he notices that it has began to slow down. He reached his limit, he's going to pass out from chakra exhaustion, Itachi thought. And Itachi was right as the skeleton disappeared and the dark red chakra went as well, and as the Susanoo disappeared Naruto fell to his knees and his last words to Itachi was, "I will kill you," and with that Naruto passed out on the floor. I better leave now before the Anbu gets here, Itachi thought, but he disappeared completely. A couple minutes later, members of the Anbu Black Ops and the 4th Hokage arrived at the Uchiha compound, and as the Anbu looked for anyone who was still alive. What the hell happened here? Said one of the Anbu whilst looking around the destroy area. Don't know, but it has to be someone who is strong, said another Anbu. Meanwhile Minato was incredibly worried for Naruto as he would never be able to forgive himself if something bad has happened to his son. Lord Hokage-san, we have looked all around the area and have only found 2 survivors, said the Anbu. Who are they? Minato asked whilst hoping that Naruto was one of them. It's Fugaku Uchiha's second son Sasuke Uchiha and the other is Naruto Uchiha, the Anbu informed. Thanks goodness, Minato thought relieved. Good work, take them straight to the hospital, I will be there in a bit to ask them what has happened here, said Minato. Yes sir, said the Anbu before he disappeared. However, unknown to all of them there was man hidden in the shadows who had dark hair and wore a red mask with black flames on it, and it only had one eye hole in it which revealed his fully mature Sharingan, and he had watched the entire fight between Naruto and Itachi, and only one thought came to him when he was thinking about the young Uchiha boy. Interesting, the masked man thought before he disappeared in a void. It has been a few months since Itachi Uchiha butchered almost his entire clan and fled from the village, leaving only 2 survivors left: Itachi's own younger brother Sasuke Uchiha and the other was Naruto Uchiha. Both of the boys had one goal, and that was to kill Itachi for what he has done to their clan, so both of them trained every day but not together. Naruto was currently at his house's library reaching anyway that could help him get any stronger until he came across a rather easily method that Jiraiya of the Sannin, and also known as the Toad Sage of Konoha, used back during his early years as a student of the 3rd Hokage, which is just perform the summoning jutsu without having to contact with any summon clans, which will then transport you to a summon region that you have a strong spiritual affectation towards that summon type. So as Naruto performed the summon jutsu without having a summon contract, he got himself teleported to a very large cave. "Where am I?" Naruto asked himself as he looked around until he saw a wolf. "Who are you, human?" said the wolf. "A taking wolf," said Naruto, not too shocking about a taking fox. After all the reach he done about summons, he found that all summon animals can talk. "Yeah, I'm a talking wolf, but who are you?" the wolf asked curiosity. "My name is Naruto Uchiha. Who are you and where am I?" said Naruto. "Well, my name is Minos and you're at Wolf's Den Forest, but how did you get here, Naruto?" said Minos. "I performed the summoning technique without having a contract, which brought me here," said Naruto. "Really? Well, in that case you better come with me to see Lady Konkon," said Minos. "Who's Lady Konkon?" Naruto asked. "She's the alpha of all the wolves in the forest," said Minos. "Well, let's go and see her then," said Naruto. Naruto then followed Minos up the mountain, and along their way up Naruto saw other wolves that had blue and green fur coats, and some of them were even far larger than Minos. However, as Naruto and Minos finally reached the top, they then entered a temple, and as they did, Naruto saw a snow-white wolf who was laying down on something that looks like a throne, which also had lots of pillows around it to make it more comfortable. "Lady Konkon, I brought you someone to meet," said Minos. "Oh, who is it, Minos?" said Konkon. "This boy's name is Naruto Uchiha, and he succeeds that he got here by doing the summoning technique without having a contract with any summon clans," said Minos. "Interesting," thought Konkon. "So you came here through the use of summoning technique," said Konkon. "Yes, that is how it happened," said Naruto. "May I ask, why did you do the summoning technique in the first place?" said Konkon. "I was reading a book in my clan's compound library, and I found out that man from my village called Jiraiya, and he did the same thing that I have done, perform the summoning technique without having a contract, but he was transported to Mount Myoboku where the toads live, and for the reason why I did it is because want to get stronger," said Naruto. "For someone so young and already desires power, why is that, if I may ask?" Konkon asked curiously. "Because I want to get revenge," said Naruto. "Who do you want to get revenge on?" Konkon asked curiosity. "Itachi Uchiha," Naruto said with hatred in his voice. "Why do you want revenge on him?" Konkon asked curiosity. "Because he has massacred our entire clan," said Naruto. "Naruto, I have a very important question to ask you," said Konkon. "Sure, what is it?" said Naruto. "Seeing that you have an affectation towards wolves, how would you like to become our very first summoner?" said Konkon. "Sure I will, but why me?" said Naruto. "Well, many of wolves here who want to see the human world, and because we never had a summoner, I think it is about time to do," said Konkon. "Okay, then I will gladly become your summoner," said Naruto. "Excellent," said Konkon. Then she used her tail to pick up a scroll that was behind her and place it down in front of Naruto. "Now just bite one of your fingers and with the blood from it write down your name in the scroll, which will make the contract between you and us, Naruto," said Konkon. Naruto did exactly just that. He bite one of his fingers and drew blood from it, then he used it to write down his name in the scroll. "And there," said Naruto as he finished. "Excellent, now you are our summoner, Naruto Uzumaki," said Konkon. "Great, I hope that we'll work well with each other," said Naruto. A couple days later. It has been a couple days since Naruto signed the wolf summoning contract and became its first ever summoner, and currently he was training in taijutsu as he knew that Itachi is also skilled in taijutsu as well, and during Naruto's research on anyway to get stronger, he discovered about a legendary taijutsu master who fought in the Third Great Ninja War with his student, and that master's name was Chen. So Naruto visit the master's graveyard to pay his respect, and when he heard his stomach rumbling, so he took out a black box from the backpack he had on and opened it, showing a set of 6 onigiri. Inside 2 had pork meat with garlic and honey, the other 2 had negishiodare, and the last two had shio kombu cheese that he made for lunch, and as he was about to eat one he heard someone behind. It's Megumi Tadokuro from Shokugeki no Soma, 3 kinds of onigiri dishes. Hey kid, do you have another one of those? Said a voice. As Naruto turned, saw a short man sitting on the tombstone of the legendary taijutsu master. He wore a yellow jumpsuit with black stripes and open-toed sandal. He had gray dreadlocks held up with a green sweatband, and red square-framed sunglasses. He was missing an upper right tooth and sported a Manchu mustache and trimmed chin beard. How did he get there without me noticing? Thought Naruto. You shouldn't be sitting on someone's tombstone, it's disrespectful, said Naruto. Oh, I'm sure he doesn't mind, so do you have another one of those? Said the old man. Should here you go, Naruto said, being his black box in front of the old man, who then took one of Naruto's onigiri, and as the old man took a bite out of Naruto's onigiri his eyes widened in surprise as he found it to be excitedly delicious. Damn, that's a good rice ball, the old man thought. Hey, shouldn't you be in school or at the Shinobi Academy right now? Said the old man. It's a holiday, Naruto said in a calm tone. Oh, it is, it must, I guess it just have slipped my mind, said the old man. But that doesn't mean I don't stop training though, said Naruto. That's good, you don't want to be your own downfall, said the old man. Wise words, said Naruto. Why thank you, so why exactly are you here kid? The old man said. Simply I'm paying my respects to the legendary taijutsu master Chen, said Naruto. Not many kids know about him, said the old man. Well, whilst training in taijutsu I also did some research and found out about him, said Naruto. Oh, thinking that if he was alive right now you would ask him to train you, said the old man. No, Naruto simply said, which surprised, said the old man. What, why not? The old man asked curiously. From what I found out he had a unique student who couldn't perform either ninjutsu or genjutsu, but that didn't stop him from becoming a shinobi who only performed taijutsu. However, the student died on the battlefield, and so if Master Chen was still alive I don't think he will take on another student, said Naruto. Oh, I see, the old man said, sounding a bit upset. And besides, if he was alive I would only ask for his advice, said Naruto. His advice, said the old man. See, I'm trying to improve my taijutsu fighting styles and I would have asked Master Chen how exactly would I be able to do it, said Naruto. I see, yeah, he would a great help with that, said the old man. So Master Chen, how exactly are you still alive? Naruto asked curiously, surprised the old man who was actually the legendary taijutsu Master Chen. Wait, how did you know it was me? The now revealed Master Chen asked. Simply there was pictures of you in the books and you have barely changed your appearance at all over the years, said Naruto. Haha, you're really smart for someone so young kid, said Master Chen. Why thank you, said Naruto. Well, I didn't die, I instead just faked my death and gave up on being a shinobi, said Chen. Because of your student who died, said Naruto. That's right, it was my fault for his death, and because of it I decided that one who cannot use ninjutsu cannot truly be a shinobi and they shouldn't even attempt such a lifestyle, said Master Chen. He's riddled with great sorrow and regret from his inability to save his student, thought Naruto. Naruto then went on his hands and knees and bow at the legendary taijutsu master. Master Chen, I ask you for your advice, said Naruto. My advice, that's all, said Master Chen. That's all I want, said Naruto. How about this, whenever you need it and in exchange you bring me more of those delicious rice balls, said Master Chen. Deal, said Naruto. It has been 4 years since Itachi Uchiha massacred his entire clan and flee the village. Afterwards Naruto began training intensely so that he can avenge Shisui and the rest of the Uchiha, but right now it was time for Naruto's class to take their genin exam, a become a shinobi of the leaf. The exam was simply first a writing exam, second a throwing exam, third a taijutsu match against the teacher, fourth was transformation. 5 was into anyone you want, and the last part was to perform the clone jutsu, but for extra credit you can also perform any jutsu you may know. Naruto, now aged 12, now wears cream color pants, a light blue shirt, a black long-sleeved vest with a high collar and the Uchiha clan crest on the back, and brown fingerless gloves with metal plates on the backhand. He wears a pair of brown leather belts with a black sheath for his mother's katana, which is a black blade, a brown shuriken holster and brown shinobi boots. So far they done 3 of them. In first place for the writing test for the boys was Naruto Uchiha. Second place was Shikamaru Nara and third place was Sasuke Uchiha as well Shino Aburame and Sai Shimaru. As for the girls for the writing test, in first place was Sakura Haruno, second place was Hinata Hyuga and third place was Mito Uzumaki Namikaze. Next part was the throwing test, with most of the civilians' children got at least 5/10 but the children from a clan around 7/10. First place for the boys was again Naruto Uchiha, who had an outstanding 10 out of 10. Second place was Sasuke Uchiha, Menma Uzumaki Namikaze and Sai Shimaru, who all three got 9/10, and third place was Kiba Inuzuka with a 8/10. As for the girls, first place was Mito Uzumaki Namikaze with a 9/10, second place was Hinata Hyuga with an 8/10 and third place was Ino Yamanaka with 7/10. The next test was a taijutsu match against the teacher. First place again for the boys was Naruto Uchiha, who had went last and knocked out the teacher whose name was Mizuki. Second place was Menma Uzumaki Namikaze and Kiba Inuzuka and third place was Sasuke Uchiha and Sai Shimaru. For the girls, first place was Hinata Hyuga, second place it was Mito Uzumaki Namikaze and third place was Ino Yamanaka. Okay everyone, this is the last part of the genin exam. When your name is called out, you will walk to the room next door, and that is where you will perform the 3 standard jutsus. First you will break free from a low-level genjutsu, second you will do body replacement technique, third you will do the transformation technique and change into anyone you see fit, and fourth you will perform the clone jutsu. However, there is a fifth part, but you can choose not to do it, and it is that you can do any other just you that you know for extra credit in their exam, Iruka told the class. All the rookies beside Mito, Menma and Naruto will the look and act the same. Okay, first Mito Uzumaki Namikaze, said Iruka. Mito has long blonde hair like her father, dark violet eyes like her mother. Her hairstyle was in 2 ponytails. She was wearing a short sleeve kimono-like plain blouse with dark embroidered border with loose sleeves held close with a dark obi, a dark skirt and stockings that stopped at her thighs. After a couple of minutes, Mito walked back in the classroom with a Konoha headband and a smile on her face. Then Iruka asked for the next person, who was Menma Uzumaki Namikaze. He has spiky red hair like his mother's, bright blue eyes like his father's. He wears a black jacket that had red stripes along the sides underneath the jacket, which he leaves unzipped. He wears a white t-shirt, black tracksuit pants and regular shinobi sandals. Boruto's outfit. After he came back with a headband, there was some other people until it was finally Naruto's turn, and he did the same as all the other students. He got up and went next door, and as he entered the room he saw the 4th Hokage sitting down by a desk with 2 Jonin sitting next to him. Well, hello Naruto, are you ready to take the genin exam? Said Minato. Yes Lord Hokage, Naruto said as he to the middle of the room. Okay Naruto, first let's do the breaking free from a genjutsu part of the exam first. Okay, Minato said, receiving a nod from Naruto. This is going to be fun, Naruto thought to himself. As the Jonin on Hiruzen's right side got up and walked a bit towards Naruto, the Jonin then looked back at Minato, who gave him a nod telling him to provide, which he did by doing the hand signs and casting his genjutsu over Naruto. However, he easily broke free from it. Impressive, even though it's a weak genjutsu, it's still impressive how easily he broke free from it, Minato thought to himself. Very good Naruto, now let's continue with the exam. Next you will perform the body replacement technique with the chair over there, Minato said, pointing at a chair in the corner of the room. Naruto gave a nod and did the hand signs and performed the body replacement technique without any problems. Perfectly performed, well done Naruto. Next, can you perform the transformation technique into anyone you want, said Minato. Naruto did the hand signs, and in a proof of smoke, instead of Naruto standing there, it was Madara Uchiha, who looked like what he during the Clan Wars era. He looks exactly like Madara from the pictures I seen, Minato thought to himself. Very good Naruto, Minato said as Naruto turned back into himself. Now the 4th part of the exam is that you have to do the clone jutsu, said Minato. Naruto did the hand signs and performed the standard clone technique, creating 4 more Narutos who stood next to him. Perfect job, said Minato, and Naruto released the clone jutsu. Now I have to say, from the report about your grades at the academy and your scores in the genin exam, you have passed with flying colors. However, if you want, you can do the 5th part of the exam and do any other jutsu that you may know, said Minato. I will like to do that Lord Hokage, Naruto said as he perked his just you. I wonder what jutsu does he know, Minato thought to himself, eager to know. Naruto, also don't worry about any damage if you are going to use a destructive jutsu, said Minato. As Naruto turned to face the wall behind him, he extended both of his arms and said, "Fire style. Flame bullet jutsu." And suddenly Naruto unleashed multiple small fireballs at the wall in multiple places. Minato and the two Jonin just stared in shock from Naruto's jutsu, and as they looked at the wall they saw that it was in fact damage from Naruto's attack, which made them even more shocked because the seals on it should have prevented something like that, which only show how Naruto's mastery over the jutsu and his power. Naruto, how and where did you learn that jutsu? Said Minato. Though research, I discover it at House's library and I have mastered it as you have seen, said Naruto. I see, well, any case you perform it perfectly, so here is your headband showing that you are now a shinobi of the Hidden Leaf Village, Minato said as he handed Naruto the headband, who wrapped it around his right arm. Thank you, Lord Hokage, Naruto said as he left the room and went back to the classroom. Later, after all the students finished their test. After the last couple of students did their final part of the genin exam, Ruka got a piece of paper which was important from another teacher that was given to them by Minato. Okay class, tomorrow morning I want everyone who have passed the genin exam to here for team assignment, but before I tell you that you can go, I announce who is the Rookie of the Year, Ruka said, which actually got everyone excited, wanting to know who it was. The Rookie of the Year name is Naruto Uchiha, Ruka told, which surprised a few and anger Sasuke and all of his fangirls. What? Sasuke, Menma and all of their fangirls shouted. But Iruka-sensei, Sasuke-kun deserves to that title far more than Naruto does, Sakura said, which all the other fangirls nodded their heads in agreement. Now Sakura, Naruto got the highest in both grades and in score of the genin exam, so he does deserve the Rookie of the Year title, Iruka explained. He beat me in everything, how's that possible? I'm the next clan head, not him. I should be the superior Uchiha, Sasuke thought to himself angrily. Congratulations Naruto, you have earned it, Iruka said before telling the class they can leave. Later, at the Hokage's office. In the Hokage's office there stood the 9 Jonins who will become this year's senseis. Okay everyone, I will tell you who be your students are, said Minato. Out of the 9 people who was stand Tai in front of Minato, there were 4 talented Jonins of the Hidden Leaf Village. Kurenai Yuhi is one of the best genjutsu user in the village. She was fair, tall and had light skin. She has pitch black long hair with red eyes. She wears a red mesh armor blouse with only the right sleeve visible. Next was Asuma Sarutobi, who was the second son of the 3rd Hokage. He is a tall man with brown eyes and short black hair with a beard. He wears a standard Leaf Jonin uniform but a 12 Guardian ninja sack that had the kanji for fire. The other man standing next to Asuma was Yamato, which wasn't his real name, just a code name. He had short brown hair and dark eyes. He wears a standard Leaf Jonin uniform, but the neck of his shirt is form-fitting and goes up to his chin, and his headband is also different from the standard one. His frames his face like the second Hokage Tobirama Senju had. And the last person was the man Naruto met years ago, Kakashi Hatake, who still had spiky gray hair and had only one visible eye, and the lower half of his face was still covered, and he was now wearing the standard Leaf Jonin uniform, and he was still reading the same book. Team 6 will have my daughter Mito Uzumaki Namikaze, my son Menma Uzumaki Namikaze, Sai Shimaru, and their sensei will be Yamato, said Minato, getting a nod from Yamato but a disappointed look from Kakashi. Team 7 will have Sakura Haruno, Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Uchiha, and their sensei will be Kakashi, said Minato. Team 8 will have Kiba Inuzuka, Hinata Hyuga and Shino Aburame, and their sensei will be Kurenai, said Minato, getting a nod from Kurenai. Team 9 is still active, so instead Team 10 will have Ino Yamanaka, Choji Akamichi, Shikamaru Naru, and their sensei will be Asuma, said Minato, getting a nod from Asuma. Okay, you all have a test for your teams, Minato said, getting a nod from everyone. Good, after the test return here to inform me if they are ready or not, said Minato. As everyone else left the Hokage's office, there were 2 people remaining, Minato and Kakashi. Is there any problem, Kakashi? Minato asked, but he already know what it was about. Sensei, I've request that I'll be the one to train Mito and Menma, Kakashi said, upset. You know, if something happens with Kyuubi within either Menma or Mito, only Yamato can stop them with his wood style, said Minato. I know that sensei, but if you and Jiraiya make some seals I can handle it, said Kakashi, trying to reason with his former sensei. We can't take the chance, Minato said in a serious tone. Fine sensei, Kakashi said, knowing there was no way he was going to get his sensei to change his mind. And besides, you are training Sasuke, who is related to Obito, said Minato. Because they're both members of the Uchiha clan. Yes, but also Obito's father was Makoto's brother, said Minato. I know that isn't true, but I thought it would be interesting. Seriously, said a surprised Kakashi. Yes, and you are training one of my children, said Minato. What? But I thought Yamato was training both of them, Kakashi said, confused. He is, but I have another son beside Menma, said Minato. What? Kakashi shouted in shock. Yes, and his true name is Naruto Uchiha Namikaze, but to everyone else he is known as just Naruto Uchiha, said Minato. I thought that boy looked similar to Sensei, but I never imagined that he was his son, thought Kakashi. Wait, does Kushina know about this? Kakashi asked curiosity. Of course she does, I told her on the same day she told she was pregnant, said Minato. How did this all happen, Sensei? Said Kakashi. Well, it all happened like this, said Minato. So Minato told Kakashi everything about what happened with him and Akemi. Wow, Sensei, just wow, Kakashi said in shock. And now you know the truth, but you can't tell anyone, understand, said Minato. Don't worry Sensei, I won't tell a soul, said Kakashi. Sign. Good, Minato said, knowing he trust Kakashi. But I just got one question, said incurious Kakashi. Oh, what is it? Minato asked curiosity. Will you ever tell Naruto the truth? Said Kakashi. Yes, when he is ready, but I don't think he'll care if he knows that I'm his father, Minato said sadly. What? Why? Said Kakashi. I failed as father for him and I couldn't keep the last promise I made to Akemi, said Minato. As Kakashi looked at his sensei, knowing that he had always wanted a family, but to know that he's failed as a father for one of his children was painful. Don't worry Sensei, I promise you if I get to know Naruto I will tell you everything, said Kakashi. Thank you Kakashi, said Minato. The next day at Konoha Academy. Alright everyone, I know that all of you are excited, but please be quiet so I can tell you who are your teammates and new sensei, said Iruka, to which everyone did. Okay, team 1 will be, said Iruka as he read out the list that the Hokage gave him. Okay, going to skip all the other teams and do the ones that you know. Team 7 is Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and before Iruka could say the third member's name he was interrupted by Sakura. Yes, true love wins in your face, Ino pig, Sakura shouted happily whilst jump image in the air of the sat. Sakura, I haven't finished yet, sit down, Iruka shouted. Sorry Iruka sensei, said Sakura. Team 7 will be Sakura Haruto, Sasuke Uchiha, and but just as Iruka was about to say their third teammate he was interrupted. Yes, true love wins in your face, Ino pig, Sakura shouted happily whilst jump image in the air of the sat. Shut up forehead, Ino shouted back whilst being jealous. Sakura, Ino, I haven't finished yet, sit down, Iruka shouted. Sorry Iruka sensei, both Sakura and Ino said. Anyways, as for your third team member, it is Naruto Uchiha and your sensei will be Kakashi Hitaki, said Iruka. Kakashi Hitaki, where have I heard that name before? Naruto thought curiously. Now Sasuke will see that we were made for each other, but why do we have to have Naruto, thought Sakura. Great, I'm stuck with a loud fangirl, but at least I got dope, which I can learn his secrets, and hopefully this new sensei Kakashi Hitaki is a strong shinobi and knows many powerful jutsus, thought Sasuke. Ha ha ha. Both Mito and Menma laughed loudly. Why are two laughing? Sakura demanded. It's because we know Kakashi and the funny and annoying thing about him is that he's always late, Mito explained before she began to laugh again. What? Sakura shouted as she couldn't believe that a jonin could be like that. Iruka-sensei wasn't Naruto named the Rookie of the Year, and with Sasuke was as the second best in our class and Sakura is one of the top kunoichi, so shouldn't the person who is dead last be on their team instead of Sasuke? Shikamaru asked curiously. Well, the Hokage wanted to try something different this year, said Iruka. Anyways, Team 8 will be Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburame, Hinata Hyuga, and your sensei is Kurenai Yuhi, said Iruka. The higher-ups probably pick our team to be a tracker team. It is a smart idea, thought Shino. Yes, I'm going to the alpha on this team and Hinata is pretty cute and hopefully our new sensei is hot, thought Kiba pervertly. I was hoping to be team up with Menma-kun, Hinata thought sadly. I just hope that I get along with my teammates and sensei and that I don't hold them back in any missions, thought Hinata. And lastly Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akamichi and your sensei is Asuma Sarutobi. However Team 9 is still active so you will be Team 10, said Iruka. Why do I have TTO be stuck with the lazy bum and the fat ass? Ino shouted angrily. Hey, I'm not fat, I'm just big bone. Choji shouted before going back to eat his big bag of crisps. Ino, all teams are desired by the Hokage and the council, so if you have any problem with it go and speak with them, said Iruka. It's so unfair why Do's billboard brow gets to be with Sasuke-kun whilst I'm stuck with these two, thought Ino. They probably want to recreate our father's team, the Ino Shika Cho, thought Shikamaru. At least I'm with Shikamaru, thought Choji. Now all of you wait here for your new sensei to pick you up, said Iruka. As Iruka left the classroom, almost all of the newly genin started talking with each other. Why can't I be part of Sasuke-kun team, said one of Sasuke's fangirls. I know right, why does Sakura get to on his, said another fangirl. It's probably because her mom is on the civilian council, said another fangirls. So Sasuke-kun, I was wondering maybe afterwards you and I could go on a date, Sakura said, hoping that he will say yes. No, Sasuke said bluntly. 2 hours later, the only people who were still waiting for their sensei was Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura, whilst everyone else's sensei had came and pick up their genins. Sakura was trying to start a conversation with Sasuke and was failing at it as Sasuke just ignored her whilst Naruto went back taking a nap. However, Naruto then got up and walked to the door but stopped when he heard Sakura shouted his name. Naruto, where are you going? We are supposed to wait here for our new sensei to show up, said Sakura. Calm down, I'm just going for a drink, said Naruto before leaving the room. How rude, he could had a least office red to get us one, thought Sakura, who could actually use a drink. After 20 minutes of Sakura continued to try to start a conversation with Sasuke, to which annoyed him greatly, and just then someone new walked in the classroom and it was finally Kakashi, who was still reading his book. Hi there, I'm Kakashi Hitaki and I'm your new sensei, said Kakashi not looking up from his orange book. Kakashi sensei, Naruto's isn't here, said Sakura, which made Kakashi look up and saw that Naruto wasn't there. Where is he then? Kakashi asked curiously. He said he's going to get a drink, but that was 20 minutes ago, said Sakura. Now then, I guess I'm going to have to go and looking for him, said Kakashi as turned around back to the door, but to his surprise Naruto was standing there with a can of soda. How did he get behind me undetected? Kakashi thought in shock. About time you show up, said Naruto before taking a sip of his drink. Okay then, met me on the roof, said Kakashi before disappearing, leaving a couple of leaves. Guess I will see you two up there, said Naruto before he performed the same thing that Kakashi just did, leaving Sasuke and Sakura behind. On the roof, as Kakashi appeared, he went and sat on the wall, read his book, believing that he got some time to spend, but suddenly in a proof of smoke Naruto appeared and he ignored Kakashi and sat down and finished his drink. So he does knows the body flicker technique, Kakashi thought curiously. After 7 minutes Sasuke and Sakura finally managed to get to the roof. Okay, now that everyone is here, why don't we tell everyone what's our likes, dislikes, hobbies and dreams are, said Kakashi. Kakashi sensei, why don't you go first so we know what to do, said Sakura. Sure, well, my name is Kakashi Hitaki, my likes and dislikes are, well, I can't say. My hobbies are, well, you three are too young to know, and my dream is, well, I don't feel like telling you, said Kakashi. All he told us was his name and we already knew that, thought Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura. Okay, how about you go first, Pinky, said Kakashi pointing at Sakura. Don't call me Pinky, Sakura shouted. Well, anyways, my name is Sakura Haruto and my likes are. Quick glance Sasuke. And my dislikes are Ino Pig and. Quick angrily glance at Naruto. My hobbies are. Another quick glance at Sasuke. And my dream is. And another quick glance at Sasuke. Sakura only hates Naruto because Sasuke hates Naruto. What a total fangirl, thought Kakashi, Naruto and Sasuke. Okay, how about you, Mr. Moody, said Kakashi pointing at Sasuke. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I don't like many things and I hate a lot of things. My hobbies are training and learning new jutsu, and I don't have a dream because I'm going to make it into reality. I'm going to kill a certain man and restore my clan," said Sasuke. "He's so cool," thought Sakura. "Yeah, he's everything what his profile says," thought Kakashi. "As well, he stays away from me and don't tries to use me for his own goals. Everything will fine between us," thought Naruto. "And finally you, the blue-eye Uchiha," Kakashi said, pointing at Naruto. "Sign. My name is Naruto Uchiha. My likes are training and learning new jutsu. My dislikes are weak fools. My hobbies are making new jutsu and I have 3 ambitious. One is to kill a certain man and second is to surpass another person and lastly is to rebuild the Uchiha clan stronger than ever," Naruto said with his eyes closed. "So he also wants to kill Itachi too, but who does he want to surpass?" thought Kakashi. "He's trying to act cool like Sasuke-kun," thought Sakura. "I won't allow him to kill Itachi. I'm the only one who can kill him," Sasuke thought angrily. "Well, anyways, you 3 ain't genin just yet," said Kakashi. "What? But Kakashi-sensei, we passed the exam," said Sakura. "Well, that was just to see if you were ready for the true exam," said Kakashi as he stood up. "Met me tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in the training ground 7, said Kakashi as turn around to leave. "Oh, before I forget, here's so advice for tomorrow: don't eat anything or you will punk it up," said Kakashi before leaving a couple of leaves. At the Uchiha clan Naka shrine. After Itachi murdered almost the entire Uchiha clan, Naruto, beside training, also he reserved though anything in the Uchiha library about what he had obtained during the massacre, and he found out what it was, and just like Itachi had said, both their great-grandfathers had it, the Mangekyo Sharingan, which was a higher level of the normal Sharingan. With those eyes they lead the Uchiha clan, though the Great Clan Wars as well as Naruto's own great-grandfather Madara Uchiha used his Mangekyo Sharingan eyes against Hashirama Senju legendary wood style. Naruto discovered with the Mangekyo Sharingan the user could perform many powerful jutsus, but at a great cost of losing the light in their eyes, and the only way to stop it was for them to take the light of someone else who was from their own family, and that person must have the Mangekyo Sharingan eyes, and they must take their eyes and implant them into their own eyes sockets, and then they will obtain the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan just like Naruto's great-grandfather had done, and never again will they fear of losing the light again. "Where or how are I going to get another set of Sharingan eyes to stop me from going blind?" Naruto said to himself. However, unknown to Naruto, he was being watched by a strange creature which was completely black with bright yellow eyes and a mouth with jagged teeth. "Toby may want to know about this," thought the strange creature, then it disappeared by going into the wall, leaving no trace behind. The next day early in the morning at the training ground 7. At Konoha Training Ground 7 at 12 o'clock stood Naruto. Sasuke and Sakura said they had been waiting for their sensei and they were annoyed, but just Sasuke and Sakura were hungry as Naruto didn't listen Kakashi's advice, and suddenly Kakashi appeared wavering at his 3 students and not even being bothered by the angrily looks he was getting from them. "Good morning, you 3, said Kakashi. "Where have you been? We had been waiting for you for over 2 hours. Sakura shouted very loudly and angrily. "Sorry I'm late, I was making my way here but then a black cat crossed my path so I had to go the long way around," said Kakashi. "Don't you dare give us that lame excuses," Sakura shouted. Kakashi then walk over to a rock and place a clock on it and walk over to Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura, and then he pull out 2 bells from his pocket. "You 3 have 1 hour, get these bells from me or all of you will be sent back to the academy," said Kakashi, causing Sasuke and Sakura to tense up whilst Naruto didn't seem bothered by it at all. "But Kakashi-sensei, there is only 2 bells, said Sakura. "Impressive, Sakura, I didn't know you can count more than 1, Naruto said, mocking tone. "Shut up, Naruto," Sakura shouted angrily. "Make me Haruno," Naruto said again in a mocking tone. Now there's no need for fighting anyway, it means that one of you will be sent back to the academy," said Kakashi. Kakashi shouted, and the moment he did, Sasuke and Sakura jump into the brushes whilst Naruto just disappear. I can sense Sasuke is hiding behind that tree over there whilst Sakura is hiding underneath the bushes, but I can't seem to sense where's Naruto is, which is impressive for a Benin to be able to do that, thought Kakashi as he walked into the forest. In the forest, as Sakura was hiding underneath some bushes, she was planning her next move, which involved Sasuke. If I can find Sasuke-kun, then maybe we can work together to get the bells, and once he see that how perfect we work with each other, then he'll want to get closer, and because we were the ones who got the bells, it will just be me and Sasuke on the team together, thought Sakura. But then suddenly she heard something behind her, so she got up and as she around to see what it was, but what she saw both shocked and horrified her because there was Sasuke leaning on a tree and was bleeding badly. Saw Sakura. Please help me, Sasuke begged. Sasuke-kun, said Sakura, who was on the edge of crying. Please help me, Sakura, Sasuke said before falling to the ground dead. Sakura screamed and then pass out. As she did, the Sasuke in front of her faded away, and up in the trees sitting on a branch was Kakashi. Maybe I overdid it a little, but shouldn't she have seen though the demonic illusion? Hell viewing technique, Kakashi thought before leaving. Back on the training ground. As Kakashi walked out of the forest, he quickly took out a kunai and blocked the incoming shuriken that were thrown straight for his head. He has some pretty good aim there, thought Kakashi as he watched Sasuke out behind a tree. So you desired that you'll be the first one to try to get the bells, said Kakashi. Don't underestimate me, I'm not like the other two, I'm far better than them, said Sasuke as went his clan's fighting stance, the interceptor style. That is yet to be seen, said Kakashi, who just stood. Sasuke then changed at Kakashi at a chunin level of speed, which surprised him, and he then continued to block and dodge all of Sasuke's attacks, which impressive Kakashi by how far skilled Sasuke was in taijutsu, because he was managing to push him back bit. However, Sasuke jumped away and threw several shurikens and a kunai at Kakashi, who managed to dodge all off kunais with ease. However, he did fell for a trap that Sasuke laid out for him, where several move kunai and shurikens were fired at him, and when Sasuke picked up one the kunais that he thrown and use it to cut a rope line. As Kakashi dodged all of Sasuke's kunais and shurikens, Sasuke quickly ran at Kakashi and once again engaged Kakashi in taijutsu, but as Kakashi managed to dodge and block Sasuke's attacks, he quickly realized that Sasuke wasn't truly trying to fight him but instead distract Kakashi as he got closer to grab one of the bells from Kakashi. Upon realizing what Sasuke aim was, Kakashi saw Sasuke that was about to grab one of the bells. Kakashi managed to jump away in the nick of time, but Sasuke managed to slightly touch one of the bells. Okay, now that was a close one, this kid is pretty good, I gotta be careful around him or else, thought Kakashi. As Kakashi jumped away, Sasuke thought that he needed to up his game if he wanted to pass the test, so he began doing a couple hand signs. Fire style. Fireball jutsu, said Sasuke as he let out a middle-sized fireball through his mouth. As the fireball headed towards Kakashi, who just there out of shock. How can a Mera genin be capable of doing a C-rank fire ninjutsu technique, thought Kakashi. As the fireball engulfed Kakashi, Sasuke saw that this was he change, and so he quickly overran to Kakashi to grab of the bells, but to his surprise he couldn't find Kakashi anyway. Where the hell is he? Behind me? Above? Thought Sasuke as tried to find where Kakashi was. But suddenly something grabbed Sasuke by his ankles, and as he looked down to see what it was, he saw Kakashi's head sticking out of the ground. Looking for me? Said Kakashi as he pulled Sasuke underground, leaving only his head by using the earth style. Double suicide decapitation technique, after which Kakashi came out of the ground and knelt down in front of Sasuke. Well, Sasuke, I got to admit you are indeed talented, I didn't expect to be pushed this far, said Kakashi, and then he got up and walked away. You can't leave me like this. I am the heir to the mighty Uchiha clan. I demand you let me out right now or else. Sasuke shouted angrily. Well, he's certainly as loud as Obito, thought Kakashi. Just then Sakura, who had regained conscious, walked out from the forest, but only to see Sasuke's head on the floor. Air! Sakura screamed in horror. Sakura, I'm not dead, just most of my body is buried underground, said Sasuke. Don't worry Sasuke-kun, I'll get you out of there, said Sakura. Suddenly Naruto appeared and walked towards Kakashi. So there you are, Naruto, I was beginning to wonder where you went off to, said Kakashi. But seriously though, I couldn't send him anywhere, Kakashi thought, whilst also being impressed by Naruto's stealth skills. Naruto, help me get Sasuke out of this, Sakura shouted. However, Naruto just ignored her and continued to walk over to Kakashi. So you desired to take a chance and try to get the bells yourself, then let's see if you have better luck than Sasuke did, said Kakashi. If the bingo book is right about him, I can't underestimate him, Naruto thought as he activated his Sharingan, which was full matured, and went into his improved family fighting style. As unlike the rest of the Uchiha clan who uses the interceptor style, Naruto's family uses the Dragon Fist style, which was the fighting style that the head of the Uchiha clan uses and teach to the next head of the Uchiha clan, and Madara taught it to Tajima before he left the village. However, as Taiga became the head of the Uchiha clan later on in his life, he was never taught the Dragon Fist style and so has remained within Naruto's family since, and Naruto has also improved it thanks to Master Chen help. That's fighting stance, it's like a Kemi's but different slightly, and he has already awakened his Sharingan and it has fully matured, thought Kakashi. As remember Akemi's taijutsu fighting style during the Third Great Ninja War. Naruto in a burst speed changed at Kakashi at a high-level shinobi, which caught Kakashi by surprise, whilst to Sasuke and Sakura he just disappear and reappear in front of Kakashi as Naruto attacked Kakashi with his taijutsu, to which he actually managed to land his blows on Kakashi, who could only block and dodge them at the best of his ability, and Naruto then flip upside down in the air and start to kick Kakashi to distract him whilst he used his hands to grab one the bells of Kakashi's belt. However, Kakashi saw that Naruto was trying to do almost the same thing that Sasuke did before, so he kicked at Naruto's chest to get him away. Naruto then took out a couple of shurikens and throw them at Kakashi, and then did a couple hand signs, multiple phantom shuriken jutsu, which made the couple of shurikens turn into a dozen of them, and then the same voice shouted, "Fire style. Phoenix Sage Flower Nail Crimson Jutsu," Naruto said as he lit all the shurikens on fire. Damn, a perfect combo of two jutsus, impressive, Kakashi thought as he did hand sign, and a proof of smoke he was gone, and in his place was a log which got hit by the flaming shurikens. However, just as Kakashi appeared next the lake in the training ground, Naruto appeared as well next to him with his katana in his hands, and then he swung it at Kakashi, but it was blocked by Kakashi's kunai, which he was able to bring out just in time. "Okay, I see that you are definitely not playing around," said Kakashi to look at Naruto. "This is battle, so why would I? And besides, I've waited to see a good opening to strike, and I watched to see if there was any weakness which I can use against you," said Naruto calmly. "So you could have helped Sasuke and Sakura, so why didn't you?" Kakashi asked, and was a little disappointed about it. "Sasuke would never accept my help because his pride would have gotten in the way, and as for Sakura, she would have believed that I was just trying to ruin Sasuke's chance of passing this test," said Naruto. He thought of all of this, and I can't blame him for it, but still, though, for them to pass this test they need to work with each other, thought Kakashi. "Which is annoying because the meaning for this test is teamwork," said Naruto. How did you figure that out then?" asked Kakashi, but inside of head he was thinking, how the hell did he figure out the true meaning of the test? "It's really simply because there's a 2 genin and sensei team at all, so why only pass 2? Because you wanted to see how far are willing to go to protect our teammates by sacrifice yourself, and Konoha is known for its teamwork," said Naruto. He actually figured it all out by himself, Kakashi thought, impressed. As Kakashi was thinking about how Naruto managed to figure out the true meaning of the test, Naruto started to channel his chakra, though his katana, which lit it on fire, and as Kakashi noticed, he was surprised by how Naruto knew that kind of advanced chakra control. That's chakra flow with the fire element, but how can he know it or even perform it, thought Kakashi, and just then Kakashi's kunai was broke by being completely cut though, but before Naruto's katana could reach Kakashi he jumped away onto the lake just in time. "Now if he comes on the water I can trap, and if he fires some jutsus at me I can easily avoid them given how large the lake is," thought Kakashi. "Does he really think that I'm that foolish that I can't see though his plan," thought Naruto. Naruto then performed one of his favorite jutsus, the one that he learned for Shisui, and was the one how he got his nickname Shisui of the body flicker technique, and with that Naruto just disappeared by just faded away and left no trace behind. As Kakashi watched Naruto and waited to see what he was going to do next, he was shocked when he saw Naruto faded away and with no trace behind, and then realized why and how. No doubt about it, that was the same kind of the body flicker technique that Shisui used. He must have taught it to Naruto. Well, just my luck, thought Kakashi. Naruto then appeared behind Kakashi, and before Kakashi could do anything, Naruto did a couple of hand signs at an impressive speed. "Wind style. Great breakthrough," Naruto said, and he let out a large gust of wind at Kakashi which sent him flying towards the trees, but he managed to get his feet on the ground and channel his chakra, though his feet stuck onto the ground until Naruto's jutsu had finished. He already has 2 chakra natures. The fire is obvious with him being a Uchiha and all, but how does he have wind nature already, thought Kakashi. Naruto then channeled a bit of his chakra in his feet to boost his speed, and he charged straight at Kakashi, and as he reached him Naruto swung his katana which was still covered in flames, which forced Kakashi to avoid the attacks, but he couldn't block them because Naruto could just break his kunais. If this continues like this, I may have to use my Sharingan, thought Kakashi. Naruto then made the flames on his katana block Kakashi's sight of him, and then Naruto was able to do slide attack on Kakashi's ankles which caused him to fall, but Kakashi then used his hands to do a handstand, and then he did a backflip to get away from Naruto. He leaves me no choice, thought Kakashi as he lifted up his headband to reveal his left eye, which was the Sharingan with 3 tomo within it. So what I heard about you is true then, Naruto said, unsurprised seeing Kakashi's Sharingan. What have you heard about me? Asked Kakashi. You are known as Kakashi of the Sharingan and the copycat ninja Kakashi became. You have copy over 1000 jutsu with your Sharingan eye, said Naruto. May I ask where you heard all this? Kakashi asked curiosity. The bingo book, said Naruto. Of course, thought Kakashi. But I am curious about one thing. When did you awaken your Sharingan? Kakashi asked curiosity. When I was 8 years old, said Naruto. You unlock your Sharingan when you were only 8 years old, Kakashi said in disbelief. During Shisui's funeral, said Naruto. Makes sense from the report I got about Naruto. He was close to Shisui and thought each like brothers, thought Kakashi. However, Kakashi was thinking about Naruto use it as an opportunity to get close to Kakashi, and before he could do anything Naruto said, Coercion Sharingan, which was a powerful genjutsu using the Sharingan that sent Kakashi into a nightmarish world, and as Kakashi tried to break free from it Naruto went and got the bells of Kakashi just before he broke free. What a horrible genjutsu, where on earth did he learn that kind of jutsu, thought Kakashi. I guess I passed the test then Kakashi, said Naruto as he held both of the bells in front of Kakashi. I guess you do, we might as well go and get Sasuke and Sakura, said Kakashi. He's definitely Minato-sensei's son in the skill department, that's for such, thought Kakashi. As Naruto and Kakashi walked towards where Sasuke and Sakura were, they saw Sakura had just finished diddling Sasuke out from the ground, and when they saw Naruto with the bells they were shocked. No way. He got the bells off Kakashi-sensei by himself. He must have cheated because only my Sasuke-kun could do something like that, Sakura thought loudly inside of her head. How could he get the bells by himself whilst I couldn't? I'm the heir of the Uchiha clan, I'm supposed to be strongest Uchiha, not him, Sasuke thought angrily. After a couple minutes Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura stood in front of Kakashi, who was sitting on the rock. Okay, seeing as only Naruto managed to get the bells off me, let me tell you too where you went wrong, said Kakashi. Sakura, you were so occupied in trying to find Sasuke that even do anything to pass the test and failed to notice that you got caught by my genjutsu, said Kakashi. Sasuke, whilst you did try to get the bells of me and actually did a good job in trying, however you didn't thought about working with the others whilst believing that they would have hold you back, said Kakashi. However, as for Sasuke and Sakura, you two will still pass the test because I believe despite your problems you two have potential to become great shinobi in the future, said Kakashi, making up an excuse why they truly pass. It is most likely he doesn't want to get in trouble with the civilian council for failing Sasuke and Sakura, thought Naruto. So now on we team 7, said Kakashi. Yes, I'm going to be with Sasuke no matter what, thought Sakura. He seems pretty good, maybe he can help me get stronger, thought Sasuke. Okay, let's re-meet at the Hokage's mansion for our first mission as a team, said Kakashi. Deep within the forest that surrounded Konoha there was something running straight away from Konoha very quickly, and if someone could see in its eyes they'd be able to see it had hope of escaping. I got to get far away or they will find me and bring me back to that thing, thought the creature. I think it went this way. Someone shouted very loudly. Damn it, I thought it would have taken them longer to find my tracks, thought the creature. But just then someone with red eyes appeared right in front of the creature and grabbed it before the creature had a chance to escape. Damn it, the creature thought in despair. Kakashi-sensei, I got the cat, said the person. Back to normal. Great work Naruto, I think that's a new record for catching Tora, said Kakashi over the headset. But Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke-kun and I did all the work whilst all Naruto did was nothing until now. Shouldn't he be in trouble for not helping us sooner, Sakura complained. Well actually Sakura, I thought that you and Sasuke needed to improve your stamina and I saw this opportunity to help you, Naruto said, completely lying as in truth he found it funny seeing Sasuke and Sakura failed at catching a cat. Shut up Naruto or else. Sakura shouted. Or else what, your threads don't scare me, said Naruto. Now everyone just calm down. Naruto, can you bring Tora back to the village, but be careful, she might try to escape, said Kakashi. Sure Kakashi-sensei, said Naruto. Although it kind of makes you wonder why it runs away a lot, Naruto thought curiously as he took Tora back to Konoha. At the Hokage's office. That explain it, thought Naruto as look at the scene in front of him. Right in front of him Naruto watches Madame Shijimi, the wife of Daimyo of the Land of Fire, hug, strangled Tora. Great job Team 7. Now as for your next mission, you can choose from helping with the client's grocery, paint another client fence or babysit, said Haruka. Tora come back, said Madame Shijimi. Or now bring Tora back to Madame Shijimi, said Haruka. No way, Sasuke-kun deserves a better mission than any of these pointless ones. Sakura shouted, which Sasuke agree with but didn't say anything. These mission ain't pointless Sakura, they're to help you to improve your teamwork for future mission that are higher in rank, Haruka explained. I need harder missions so that I can become even stronger, said Sasuke. You're not ready for them, you're just a brand new genin team, said Haruka. Haruka, if they think they are ready for a higher rank mission, why don't we give them a C rank if you think they ready, Kakashi, said Hiruzen. Yeah sure, said Kakashi as he continued to read his book. C ranks missions ain't too hard, and besides both Naruto and Sasuke are stronger than your average genin, so they handle it, and as for Sakura, she might become more focused on training so she won't hold them back. Okay, please bring in the client, Minato told the Jonin. After a couple of minutes a old man walk. These are the shinobi that I'm paying for, they look like they belong in school, said the old man. Mr. Tazuna, please do not underestimate these genin because of their age, said Minato. I don't know, the girl looks like a normal girl, that boy, Sasuke, looks like he thinks that he's entitled to everything, and this one I bet he's just trying to look. Before Tazuna could finish what he was about to say about Naruto, he felt something cold and sharp against his neck. As Tazuna slightly turned his head around, he saw Naruto hold a kunai against his neck. Listen to our Hokage and don't underestimate me, got it? Said Naruto, seriously scaring Tazuna. Whilst this happened, everyone else in the room all thought about what just happened. How did he get there so fast, thought Sakura. I should be the one to be able to move like that, not him, Sasuke thought angrily and jealousy. How can he move that fast? He's supposed to be only a genin. Sure, he was the rookie of the year, but still, thought Haruka. So Kakashi wasn't overestimated about Naruto's speed, Minato thought whilst also being impressed by his secret son. Naruto, it's bad for business to threaten the client, said Minato. Yes Hokage-san, said Naruto as he pulled his kunai away and then walked back. As you can see Tazuna, don't underestimate my shinobi, even the genin, said Minato. Why yeah sure, said Tazuna, who was still a bit scared. Okay team, let's at the west gate in 2 hours, bring only things that you need, said Kakashi. 4 hours at Konoha's west gate. Right now Sasuke and Sakura were waiting for Kakashi and Naruto for over 2 hours. Where the hell are they? Sakura shouted. Why are I always the one who gets stuck alone with her, thought Sasuke. But just then Kakashi appeared with Tazuna. Yo, said Kakashi simply. Where the hell have you been? Sakura shouted. Well you see I got lost on the path of life, said Kakashi with a lame excuses. Lies, Sakura shouted. So anyway, where's Naruto? Kakashi asked. He hasn't shown up yet, said Sakura. However, just as Sakura that Naruto appeared right in front of everyone. Is it time to leave? Naruto asked simply. Yeah, 2 hours ago. Where the hell have you been? Sakura shouted. Around, and besides, haven't you figured it out yet? Kakashi-sensei is always late for Missison 2 hours, said Naruto. Well, unless it's important, thought Kakashi. Anyways, is everyone ready, because it's going to take us a couple of days to get the Land of Waves, said Kakashi. Wait, Sakura shouted. Yes, what is it Sakura, said Kakashi. Naruto doesn't have anything with him for the Missisen, said Sakura. Unlike you two, I don't need a backpack, I have sealed all of my equipment into this, said Naruto as he showed them the red scroll. You know how to seal things, sure, the storage scrolls, if you don't mind me asking who taught you, Kakashi asked curiosity. I saw Shisui do it, just he left on a mission and I thought it was interesting so he taught me how to do it, Naruto explained. Then seal both Mai and Sasuke-kun's bags in there as well, Sakura said in a demanding tone. No, Naruto said simply. Why not? Sakura shouted. Because it isn't my fault that you don't know how to do seal things yourself, said Naruto. Kakashi-sensei, make Naruto seal our things as well, said Sakura. I will not, Sakura, because Naruto does have a point, storage scrolls are useful in our line of work, so you two really should learn how to do it yourselves as well, but until then you will have to carry your belong things the old-fashioned way, said Kakashi. Anyways, now that everyone is ready, let's head out, Kakashi said as his students and Tezuno headed out. As Team 7 and Tazuna made their way to the Land of Waves with Kakashi in front and was reading his Oranges book, while Sasuke was on the left side and was thinking different ways of revenge against Itachi. Naruto was on right side reading a book and Sakura was talking to Tazuna about his homeland. So Tazuna, I didn't you hire any shinobi from the Land of Waves, said Sakura. Sakura, not every nation has a shinobi village, said Kakashi. How come, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked curiosity. Many nations can't afford the funding for a shinobi village as it is costly, Kakashi explained. Oh, I see, said Sakura. However, in the Land of Iron, instead of having shinobi they have samurais, said Kakashi. Samurais, Sasuke said. Masters of kenjutsu and how to forge strong blades, said Kakashi. Interesting, thought Sasuke. I got to remember that, thought Naruto. As they continued to make their way to the Land of Waves, they saw a puddle in the middle of the road, which was strange as it hasn't rained for couple days, and as they pass it, the only who knew the truth about it was Naruto and Kakashi, whilst Tazuna, Sasuke and Sakura didn't notice. Suddenly two ninjas appeared, both of who had shoulder-length wild dark brown hair and dark eyes. They both wore a rebreather that covered the lower half of their face, and both had a large metal gauntlet on their arm, but each had it on a different arm and had a chain which was attached to each gauntlet. One wore a camouflage suit with bandages around his waist, dark-colored knee-length sandals and a ragged black cape that covered him, and around his forehead he had a forehead protector with the symbol from another ninja villages, and it also had one black horn on it. While the other wore a similar outfit except for he didn't had a ragged black cape, instead he had several pouches around his waist and had two black horn on his forehead protector. The two ninjas used their chain and wrap it around Kakashi before they use it to torn Kakashi in pieces, and then they look at their next victim, Taruzo. Kakashi-sensei. Sakura screamed in horror as she looked her sensei. Damn it, Sasuke thought as he got his kunai ready. 1 down 4 to go, said the one with only one horn. This is going to easy, brother, said the one with 2 horns. As the two ninjas jump at Taruzo, suddenly Naruto just above them and kick them in the face and throw his kunai at their chain, trapping them. I didn't even see him move, Sasuke and Sakura thought in shock as they look at Naruto. Why, you little brat? The one with 2 horns shouted before both he and with one only horn press a hidden button within their gauntlets which disconnected the chain from each of their gauntlets, and the one with 2 horns changed straight at Naruto in a chunin level of speed with the claws on his gauntlet ready and a kunai in his other hand. Naruto didn't say anything but just went into stances with his left hand on the handle of his katana readily to draw it out, and just then in a brief moment it was over. Naruto was a bit further away from where he was a moment ago and his katana were slightly drew out and blood started to pour out of the one with 2 horns, and then he fell to the ground dead. Brother, I'll kill you, the one with 1 horn shouted with concern for his brother. You really shouldn't look away from an enemy, you know, said a voice behind him, and as the man quickly turned his head he saw the man that he and his brother just killed, who then knocked him out cold. Kakashi-sensei, you're alive, Sakura shouted in relief. Of course, I just wanted to see how you 3 would handle yourself, Kakashi said as he knocked out the assassin. Isn't that a bit risky, said Tazuna. I did it to also see who they were aiming for, said Kakashi. Look at Tazuna seriously. What do you mean, said Tazuna getting nervously. They were after you, Tazuna. Care to explain yourself, said Kakashi. Fine, you got me. These men were hired to kill me by Gato, said Tazuna. Wait, Gato for Gato Shipping Company? Why would he do that, said Kakashi. Because he has taken over my whole village by force, said Tazuna. How did he? Tazuna-san, said Sakura. My village only has one way of getting anything, that is though shipping, and Gato knew this, so he took out any competition, raised the price, and had hired an army of bandits and thugs so that if anybody tries anything against him they would kill them, said Tazuna. But why would he send men after you? Said Kakashi. Because I'm trying to build a bridge which will connect us to the mainland, said Tazuna. Which will end Gato's rule over your village, said Kakashi. Yes, exactly, that's why he wants me dead, because without me the bridge will never be finished, said Tazuna. Tazuna then went on his hands and feet in front of Team 7. I beg you please continue the mission, Tazuna begged. You pay for a C-rank mission, meaning that we will fight off bandits and thugs. Yeah sure, but after these two it's obvious that Gato has hired shinobi, which will make this a rank mission, but I think you knew that, said Kakashi. That was all money we could muster up, but if you complete the mission we will pay you in full, said Tazuna. I don't know, Kakashi said, because he did wanted to help Tazuna, but it will meant that he will be putting his genin in danger. I'm sorry, but we are only brand new genin and we ain't ready for a mission like his, Sakura said. I understand, I shouldn't expect you to help me after I lied to you, Taruza said. Kakashi-sensei, I believe we should continue on with the mission, said Naruto. Naruto, this is serious, we can just rush ahead, said Kakashi. That's not what I'm saying, we take our time and plan ahead, and also you are missing one important thing that we can achieve for the village if we success in this mission, said Naruto. And what's that? Said Kakashi. We can create a trade route for our land with the land of waves, said Naruto. Naruto then looked to Tazuna, who nodded his head agreeing with Naruto's idea. That's true, creating another trade route will be great for the village and the land of fire, thought Kakashi. What do you two think? Said Kakashi. I say we continue on, said Sasuke. This may be a good opportunity to test my strength, thought Sasuke. Yeah, we finish this mission, said Sakura. I can't let Sasuke-kun down, thought Sakura. Okay Tazuna, we will continue the mission, said Kakashi. Thank you so much, said Tazuna. As they continued their way to Tazuna's village they had to stop and had to hire a rowboat to get there, and as they got closer they saw something huge within the mist. What's that? Sakura asked. Well, that people is, said Tazuna. As they got closer it revealed a massive unfinished bridge. My bridge, said Tazuna. It's huge, said Sakura. Well yeah, it has to be, said Tazuna. Because of how many people will use it, said Naruto. Yes exactly, said Tazuna. The rower then informed them that he couldn't take them all the way because Gato's men would spot them, and as they finally reached land Naruto sensed something in a brush, so he threw a kunai at it, but then a pure white rabbit ran out from the brush scared. Naruto, you massive idiot, you almost hurt that poor rabbit. Sakura shouted. No, there was definitely something there, I know it, thought Naruto. Wait, that rabbit's fur, it's white, it doesn't belong in this land, thought Kakashi. Suddenly Kakashi sensed something headed straight for them. Everyone down now, Kakashi shouted. As they all ducked in time a large blade flew past them and was embedded in a tree, and then a man appeared standing on it. The man was tall and noticeably muscular build with pale skin. He had black hair and brown eyes. He had bandages around the lower half of his face and his forehead protector was sideways. He was shirtless but had a belt going across his chest and wore baggy pants and mimetic wrist warmer extending up to his elbows with matching leg warmer. That sword, it's Kabikirabocho, or otherwise known as the Executioner Blade, one of the 7 swords of the mist, so it's you Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the mist, said Kakashi. I'm flattered that Kakashi Hitaki the copycat ninja knows who I am, said Zabuza. So Gato has even hired you, said Kakashi. Yeah, so why don't you choose the easy way and just hand over the bridge builder, said Zabuza. I can't do that Zabuza, said Kakashi. Well in that case, said Zabuza. Zabuza then hop off his blade and rip it from the tree and leap off the tree to the lake and was standing above it. It's the hard way then, said Zabuza. Stay and guard Tazuna, I'll handle Zabuza, said Kakashi. But how will you handle me Kakashi if you can't see me, said Zabuza as he began doing a couple of hand signs. Hidden mist, just you, said Zabuza, then a thick mist appeared which covered everything, making it impossible to see anything and making Zabuza disappear. He's going to use the silent killing technique, it is his village's specialty, thought Kakashi. Suddenly Zabuza appeared in the middle of Tazuna, Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura and was ready to cut them in half with his executioner blade. However, as he was about to chop Tazuna in half, he was stopped by Naruto, who blocked it with a kunai. "Oh, impressive, a mere genin managed to block my attack so well," said Zabuza before he disappearing into the mist again. "I have no choice, I got to use my Sharingan," Kakashi thought as he lifted up his headband to reveal his Sharingan eye. Sasuke and Sakura didn't know about and saw Kakashi's Sharingan eye. "Are you famous the Sharingan eye?" Zabuza said within the mist. "He still haven't told me how he got his Sharingan eye," thought Naruto. "How does he possess the Sharingan?" Sasuke thought curiosity whilst also thinking that since Kakashi has the Sharingan he can teach him how to use his when he finally awakens it. "The Sharingan, what's that?" Sakura asked curiously. The Sharingan is the legendary bloodline of the Uchiha clan which allows the user to see their opponent's movements and copy them as well as cast powerful genjutsu over them just by looking into their eyes, Sasuke said with pride. "Wow," said Sakura. "But that's only a part of its power," thought Naruto. But suddenly everyone felt an overwhelming sense of killer instinct coming from within the mist. 8. Which should I choose, the liver, lungs, spine, heart, kidneys, throat, larynx, subclavian artery and the last the brain? Zabuza said within the mist. "He's using his killer instinct to intimidate us," thought Kakashi. "I have to stay calm, he's just trying to intimidate us so he will make a mistake that he can use," Naruto thought, trying to keep himself calm. "Why are I shaking him so much?" thought Sasuke as he looked at his hand which was shaking. "I got to make it go away," thought Sasuke as he lifted one of his kunais closer to his throat but stopped when he heard Kakashi's voice. "Sasuke, calm down, I promise I would allow any of you get hurt, okay?" said Kakashi, hoping to calm Sasuke's nervous, which it did. "Don't make promises that you can't keep, Kakashi," said Zabuza, who appeared behind him and was ready to attack. However, Kakashi brought a kunai and sliced Zabuza's throat just in time, but instead of blood there was water. Then Zabuza's whole body turned into a puddle of water. "A water clone, then that means," Kakashi thought as he turned his head just to see Zabuza, who then cut Kakashi in half. However, just like Zabuza, both halves of Kakashi turned into puddles of water. "He made a water clone just like I did, damn it, that copycat shit," thought Zabuza. "This over, Zabuza," Kakashi said as he held a kunai against Zabuza's throat. "I don't think so," said Zabuza as he then turned in another puddle of water. "Another water clone," thought Kakashi. Zabuza then appeared behind Kakashi and kicked him in the back. However, Kakashi managed to turn around and block it, but the force from it sent him flying into the lake. As Kakashi tried to channel his chakra so he will be able to stand on the water, he felt something wrong with the water, like it was heavier than normal, and that was when Kakashi realized why, but it was too late because Zabuza was standing next to him on his left side. "Water prison jutsu," said Zabuza as he held his left hand out and the water around Kakashi formed into a ball, trapping both Kakashi and Zabuza's left hand. "Damn it, I fell right into his trap," thought Kakashi. "Ha ha, I can't believe you fell for it," said Zabuza. "Oh no, Kakashi-sensei," said Sakura, worried for her sensei. "Just great," said Sasuke. "This is bad," said Tazuna. However, unlike everyone else's reaction, Naruto's was different. "So be it," said Naruto as he took a step towards Zabuza and Kakashi. "Naruto, we got no change against him. He's a jonin and he even took Kakashi down," Sakura shouted loudly. "Those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum, right, Kakashi-sensei?" said Naruto. "He actually listened to me," thought Kakashi in surprise because he originally thought that Naruto just ignore him. "That's a nice saying there, kid, but it doesn't matter or help you against someone like me. You don't have enough power," said Zabuza. "Besides, you wouldn't have let us go anyway. You would kill our sensei then come after us next, or I right?" said Naruto. "You got me there. I was about to offer you a chance to run away, but you had to leave the bridge builder behind, and after I finish of both of them I would have come after you three next," said Zabuza. Naruto then turned around to face both Sasuke and Sakura. "You two will stay here and protect Tazuna. I will retrieve Kakashi," Naruto said in a serious tone before he started to walk towards Zabuza and Kakashi. "Wait, Naruto, you got no chance against him," Sakura said, worried, not wanting to see one of her teammates die. "She right, you idiot, you'll die," said Sasuke. Naruto didn't listen to them and just kept walking towards Zabuza. Haha, you serious think you can fight me? Zabuza said, try to hold in his laughter. Naruto, just run away, it's okay, you will not be scum if leave right now, Kakashi said, hoping that Naruto would listen to him. Naruto didn't reply, instead he closed his eyes and drew his mother's katana out from its sheath. Fantasy blade you got there, kid, I might keep it after I kill you, said Zabuza. Naruto opened his eyes widely, showing his fully matured Sharingan to Zabuza, surprising him. Before Zabuza could finish his thought, he was interrupted by Naruto. Let's see about that, Naruto said with his Sharingan glowing red. Those eyes, there's no doubt about it, you're from one of Konoha's most famous clans, the Uchiha clan, ain't you, kid? Said Zabuza. Yes, I am, Naruto said, just kept walking towards them, and when he reached the water, Naruto then started to channel chakra, though his feet, like Zabuza is doing, to allow him to walk on the water. He knows the water surface walking practice as well, but how? Kakashi thought curiously. But to have a fully matured Sharingan already that impressive, I must admit, said Zabuza. With those eyes of his he may be a little trouble for me, thought Zabuza as he began to do a couple of hand signs, and once Zabuza finished, the water in front of him started to rise and form into another Zabuza. These see how you handle a water clone, said the real Zabuza. As the water clone of Zabuza got his copy of the executioner blade ready, Naruto just faded away, shocking everyone except for Kakashi, who knew what Naruto just did. With Sakura, Sasuke and Tezuno. Where did Naruto go? He just faded away, said Sakura. No, wait, I remember being told about something like this before, Sasuke thought as he tried to remember what exactly it was. I guess the Hokage was right when he told me I really shouldn't underestimate them even if they're just kids, thought Taruzo. With Zabuza, Kakashi, Naruto and the water clone of Zabuza. He shouldn't be able to use the Shinshin already, he's just a genin, not to mention that he did it without using his hands. It takes mastery over the Shinshin to be able to that, something like that, Zabuza thought to himself as he tried to figure out how Naruto was able to do what he just did. Where is he? Said the water clone of Zabuza as he tries to find out where Naruto had gone to. Just then Naruto appeared slightly mid-air above the water clone of Zabuza with his blade ready to cut the water clone's head clean off, but as Naruto swung his blade to actually do it, the water clone of Zabuza blocked it. Thanks to all of his experience in different assassination types, he was able to sense Naruto above him and block Naruto's blade against his own. Nick, try kid, but tough luck, said the water clone of Zabuza as he pushed Naruto away him, then he changed straight at him. As Naruto was about to land on the water, he looked up to see the water clone of Zabuza was coming at him and was about to cut him in half, but thanks to Naruto's Sharingan and his speed he was able to dodge Zabuza's attack. The water clone of Zabuza continued his attacks on Naruto but continued to miss, and as he swung to cut Naruto in half between his upper body from his lower half with his copy of the executioner blade, Naruto then jumped into the air just a bit and used it to push off to create some distance between him and the water clone of Zabuza. Bad idea, kid, said the water clone of Zabuza as he placed his executioner blade on in its holster and began to do hand signs. Water style. Water bullet jutsu, said the water clone of Zabuza as he fired a medium-sized torrent toward Naruto. As the jutsu looked like it directly hit Naruto, all of Team 7 and Tezuno got worried for Naruto if he were okay and was still alive, but before anyone could say anything, Naruto appeared behind the water clone of Zabuza again, but this time Naruto managed to cut his head clean off, which caused the water clone of Zabuza to turn back into water. With Zabuza and Kakashi. He used the Shinshin to escape the clone's attack just in time and then got behind him again, but because the clone used most of his chakra on his last attack and he thought that Naruto was die, he didn't expect Naruto to appear behind him again. Kakashi thought, as well as being impressive. He actually managed to kill my water clone and it didn't take him too long as well. What the hell has Kakashi been teaching this kid? Zabuza thought whilst both surprised and angry. With Sakura, Sasuke and Tezuno. How is Naruto able to appearing and disappearing like that? Sakura asked curiosity. I know how he's doing it, said Sasuke as he continued to watch the fight in front of them. You do, Sasuke-kun? Wait, of course you do, why wouldn't you, Sasuke-kun? Sakura said in amazement. Why is she so amazed by him knowing what the other kid is doing whilst he's the one who's actually doing the thing, thought Tezuno. He's using the Shinshin, a technique that allows the user to travel short or long distance in an untraceable speed. It may look like he's teleporting, but he's not, he is just using the adventure version of the Shinshin, which looks like he's faded away, Sasuke explained. Wow, Sasuke-kun, how do you know so much about it? Sakura asked. I was told about it by the only other person I know who is capable of doing the same style of the Shinshin that Naruto is doing right now, said Sasuke. Who was it, Sasuke-kun? Sakura asked curiously. He was from my and Naruto's clan and his name was Shisui Uchiha, or also known as Shisui the Teleporter, said Sasuke. Wait, Shisui, the same Shisui who was like a older brother to Naruto and who was killed back when we were still attending the academy? Sakura asked. Remember the fight between Naruto and Kiba when Kiba badmouthed Naruto's older brother figure? Yes, that was him, said Sasuke. With Zabuza and Kakashi. That type of the Shinshin, it can't be the same one, can it? Zabuza said to himself. Do you know something about it, Zabuza? Kakashi asked, overhearing Zabuza. Back when I was still a shinobi of the Hidden Mist village and a guy the first new call out told me about a shinobi from your village, said Zabuza. What did he say? Kakashi asked, curious. During the Missisen Ao and his group were returning to Kirigakure with some important documents, but they were stopped when they had a run-in with another group from your village, and in that group was one man who was responsible for causing Ao's mission to fail. Zabuza explained. Try to remember what Ao told him all those years ago. What did he do? Kakashi asked, curiosity. From all what I was told, he put some of Ao's men under a powerful genjutsu, and every time one of them tried to attack that guy, he would just vanish like faded away before any of them had changes, so Ao and his men had to retreat to avoid being captured, but not before the thing that Ao and his was told to receive was taken from them, as well as a few of them were captured, the ones that were under the genjutsu, said Zabuza. Did Ao ever find out who it was? Kakashi asked. Yes, he did, and his name was Shisui Uchiha, or also known as Shisui the Teleporter, said Zabuza. Then if it was that Shisui, then of course both his and Naruto's Shinshin style are the same one, said Kakashi. Why's that? Zabuza asked curiously. Naruto was like a little brother to Shisui and Shisui was like a big brother to Naruto, and before Naruto became a genin he was trained by Shisui for a couple of years, Kakashi said, surprising Zabuza. That would explain it, thought Zabuza, and as he turned his head he saw Naruto looking straight at him and was doing a couple of hand signs. Fire style. Fire dragon flame bullets jutsu. Naruto said as he needs his chakra into flames and then manipulated into a genuine-looking dragon which was heading straight at Zabuza. In the anime, within Tsunade's infinite Tsukuyomi dream, Shisui Uchiha could perform this technique. Crap, Zabuza thought as he looked at the genuine-looking dragon that was coming straight at him. Zabuza knew he if release his water prison jutsu that was trapped Kakashi, but also trapping his left hand which stopped him from dodging the incoming attack, so he released his jutsu and managed to get away just in time, and Kakashi saw the incoming attack, so he went underwater to avoid Naruto's attack. How the hell can a mere genin be capable of that kind level of jutsus? Zabuza thought. As Kakashi got himself out water and catch his breath, as well as went to Sasuke, Sakura and Tezuno were at. Are you alright, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked, worry for her sensei. Yeah, I'm going to need a minute or two. It's the after effects from the water prison jutsu, it leaves the person who was trapped in it weak, said Kakashi. But can Naruto really handle the real Zabuza? Sure, he beat the water clone, but still that was just a clone, said Sakura, worried. Sakura, a moment ago you thought Naruto couldn't defeated the water clone, but now you know he is, so there is one thing you really shouldn't do when it comes to Naruto fighting against an opponent, and is never underestimate him, Kakashi told Sakura. With Naruto and Zabuza, I got to admit, kid, I didn't expect you to be able to kill my water clone so easily, said Zabuza. Do not underestimate me, Zabuza, Naruto. I guess you're right, I really shouldn't, so because of your effort I will show you what a real battle between shinobis is really like, said Zabuza as he got his sword ready, the real executioner blade. I guess I don't have a choice, I got to use it if I want to survive this, Naruto thought as he started to channel his chakra, though his blade which appear on it. That's chakra flow, how the hell can a genin be able to do that? Zabuza thought, surprised. Don't act so surprised just yet, Zabuza, I still haven't finished yet, Naruto said as he was about to something else to his blade. What does he mean about that? Zabuza thought, curiosity, as he continued to watch and waited to see what Naruto meant. Suddenly the chakra on Naruto's blade turned into flames, engulfed his blade completely, just like what Shisui did years again. He can even turn it into flames, that's even advanced level that no genin should be able to do that. What else is this kid capable of? Zabuza thought in surprised. Now then, let's see how real shinobis do battle, shall we, Zabuza, said Naruto. Don't get kid or it will be your downfall, said Zabuza. You should really take your own advice, Zabuza, said Naruto as he and Zabuza change at each other at Jonin level and attack each other with their blades. He can even keep up with me at this speed, Zabuza thought in shock, and just then he blocked one of Naruto's slashes. Naruto continued his attacks on Zabuza, which he blocked and dodged but were difficult because of the flames on Naruto's blade could burn him. Each of Naruto's swing were heavy, just like if he was using a hammer at Zabuza's executioner blade. After a while Zabuza realized two things. First was Naruto's blade was unique because with the way Naruto was using it against his blade it should have broken off by now, so there's something special about it. And the season thing was Naruto wasn't trying to hit him but instead his executioner blade. That isn't going to work, kid, not against my executioner blade, it's one of the 7 legendary sword of the mist, said Zabuza. Look at your blade and say that again, Naruto told Zabuza. As Zabuza looked down at his blade he was shocked when he saw that there was cracks and even some pieces had broken off. What's going on? Why does my blade have so much damage on it? No, why can his blade can do something like this, Zabuza thought. Like I said before, do not underestimate me, Naruto told Zabuza. What did you do to my blade, brat? Zabuza asked annoyed. My fire version of chakra flow isn't just for show, you know, but I had to admit that I do have a rather high chakra nature towards fire, even among my clan members who are known besides their Sharingans to have a high chakra nature towards fire, said Naruto. I don't know if he's boasting or being serious, thought Zabuza. I don't know how my mother got this blade, but I discovered that it is a weaker copy of another blade that you may have heard about, the sword of Kusanagi, a blade that is said to be able to cut though almost anything, said Naruto, shocked Zabuza once again. Even if it's a weaker version of that blade he can still do this kind of damage to my blade, but it doesn't matter, thought Zabuza before started to laugh out loud. Haha, you think this is going to be a problem? Well, I hate to break it to you, kid, but my blade has a special ability like all the other swords of the 7 swordsmen of the mist, said Zabuza as he cut his thumb on a sharp part of his blade to draw some blood from it, then he whipped it across his blade. Then something shocking happened. Zabuza's blood started to fade away like it is being absorbed by the executioner blade, and as that happened the blade itself healing away some of the cracks that Naruto had done to it. My blade has a unique ability, it can repair itself with blood, it takes the iron within it and uses it, as you can see, said Zabuza. I must admit that is impressive. If I'm able to, I would like to find out how it can do that and copy it onto other weapons, said Naruto. Haha, you think you will survive this and going to be able to take my blade from me, brat? Zabuza laughed out madly. Just watching me, said Naruto just as he began to do a couple of hand signs. Fire style. Great fire destruction. Once Naruto finished he expelled a massive stream of intense flames though his mouth towards Zabuza. Zabuza just still in shock for a brief moment, not believing that a mere genin could still have that amount of chakra within them or can even be able to use that kind of jutsu in the first place, but once he snapped out of it he tried to dodge but he knew he couldn't escape it completely, so he began to do a couple of hand signs. Water style. Great waterfall jutsu, said Zabuza as he let out a large amount of water though his mouth, which prevented Naruto's fire jutsu from hitting him. As both jutsus collided against each other all that remained was a lot of stream. Naruto then collapsed to his knees and was breathing heavily. Damn it, I spent most of my chakra on that jutsu and he managed to dodge and block it, Naruto thought to himself as he watched the stream clear to show Zabuza, who was walking towards him. I didn't expect you to be able to use that kind of jutsu, kid, but it's time to end this little fight of ours, so don't feel bad, you did better than any other genin, said Zabuza as got his executioner blade ready. I only got one way out of this that I can think of. If I can just get one of my soldier pills out and eat it, then my chakra will be replenished and I will be able to use that. It's a shame I didn't want anyone to find out about it to avoid questions, Naruto thought to himself as he tried to do the first step of his plan. However, Zabuza appeared standing above him ready to cut Naruto in half. Say good night, brat, Zabuza shouted as he swung his sword. But Zabuza didn't hit Naruto, instead he hit someone else who came just in the nick of time to block the Zabuza's swing, but not with a weapon, but instead they used their left wrist, and the person was none other than Kakashi Hatake. No one of my team is going to die today or anytime soon, Kakashi said in a serious tone whilst looking Zabuza straight in his eyes. Kakashi-sensei, Naruto said in relief. Naruto, go back to the others, I will handle Zabuza, Kakashi said, still looking straight at Zabuza. Haha, you couldn't handle me before, what is going to be different this time? Zabuza said whilst jump away create quite a bit of distance between him from Kakashi. Because this time I'm going to use the full power of my Sharingan and make this fight is over, Zabuza, said Kakashi. Yes it is, but for you that is, said Zabuza as he began to do a couple of hand signs. However, Kakashi was doing exactly the same hand signs to Zabuza in sync with him as well. Water style. Water dragon, just you, said Zabuza as the water behind him formed into a dragon and changed at Kakashi. Water style. Water dragon jutsu, said Kakashi as the water behind him formed into a dragon as well and headed towards Zabuza's water dragon. As both jutsus clash with each other, cancelling both of them out as well as causing a large splash of water. Damn that copycat, he uses Sharingan to copy my just you and perform it at the same time as me, Zabuza thought as he stared at Kakashi. What, can you see the future or something? Said Zabuza angry. Yes I can, and I see your death, Zabuza, said Kakashi. Just then suddenly someone or something appeared behind Kakashi, and as Zabuza got a better look he saw that person behind Kakashi was himself. What the hell, who is that, and does he look just like me? Zabuza thought to himself, unaware that Kakashi had just finished doing a couple of hand water style. Water tidal wave jutsu, said Kakashi as he unleashed a large tidal towards Zabuza. That's the jutsu that I was about to use, thought Zabuza as he got swallowed by Kakashi's jutsu and was slammed against some trees. But as everyone thought that the battle was over, Zabuza began to get back up. Don't think that's going to take me down just yet, Kakashi, said Zabuza. But just then a couple of senbon came out hitting Zabuza's neck, which caused him to fall straight to the floor, and then a masked person appeared next to the collapsed Zabuza kneeling down. The person had brown hair and had a mask that covered their face completely, and they wore a pinstriped outfit which stopped at their knees. Over that they wore a green haori with white trimmings, and around his waist a brown sash with a fringed trail wrapped around their waist twice. Who the hell are you? Sasuke asked, ready to attack just in case. Sasuke, stand down, he's a hunter ninja, said Kakashi as got to the others. A hunter ninja, said Sasuke. They specialized in tracking down Rouge ninjas from their home village and stopping them from giving their village's secret to other villages, Kakashi told him. Genin team. Yes, I have been tracking Zabuza down for some time now, but he had always gotten away, but thanks to you I will be able to complete my mission, said the hunter nin. Then they didn't you help us when Kakashi-sensei got captured? Sakura asked whilst also sounding annoyed. Because I desired that, I'll wait for a perfect opportunity to strike, said the hunter nin. What are you going to with Zabuza's body? Sakura asked curiosity. What we hunter nin always do when we have our target's body, we dispose of it and leave nothing behind, said the hunter nin as he picked Zabuza up. He must be pretty talented because from the sound of their voice they're around the same age as these three, thought Kakashi, but just then he fell to his knees. Kakashi-sensei, Sakura shouted as she ran to Kakashi to make sure he was okay. Damn it, my chakra is almost entirely empty, if he attack us now I wouldn't be able to do anything, thought Kakashi. Okay then, I shall be taking my leave then, said the hunter nin as they were about to leave. Wait, you can't leave just yet, help us get to Tezuno's house, Sakura asked. I'm not obligated to help you, said the hunter nin before they took off. How dare he after we took down Zabuza for them, Sakura said angrily. You or Sasuke didn't do anything at all, Naruto thought to himself. Sakura, he is right, he's not obligated to help us, he has his own duties for his village, said Kakashi. But still, said Sakura whining. This world that we live in isn't happy and kind like the way you live back in the village, so don't think everyone is going to help you out, said Kakashi. But still. Before Sakura could finish what she was saying, she interrupted by Naruto, who had enough of Sakura's whining. Sakura, just get over it already, said Naruto angrily. But just then as Kakashi just back onto his feet he collapsed again, but this time he completely onto the floor and was unconscious. Kakashi-sensei, Sakura shouted alongly. Naruto just walked next to Kakashi and check him by senses his chakra because Naruto had theory what was worry with Kakashi. He's okay, he just pass out from chakra exhaustion, said Naruto. What are going to do then? Sakura asked. All Kakashi needs right now is rest, said Naruto. How about my house? It isn't far from here, said Tazuna. Okay, then we will go to Tazuna's home so Kakashi can rest. Hopefully we wouldn't run in with anyone who is after Tazuna, said Naruto. In that case I will carry your sensei whilst you three guard me, said Tazuna as he put Kakashi. Okay then let's go, shall we? Said Naruto as he was in the front and Sasuke was on the right and Sakura was on the left in a triangle formation.
That's all for now. If you enjoy this video, then please like, share and do comments.